So, I'm going to start, who is here for the cannabis, license? You are from, which is 386 Canal Street. Now, thank you. Chair of the board, so we have somebody important. Anyway, yes.
Let me on the sofa side.
You're up. Talk and inform us and okay. Now that, if I remember correctly, and Onesh she's putting it on the, I don't have it in front of me, I didn't print it out. That spot was already approved. Am I correct on that?
The location.
The location was approved. That means you're within the 500-foot, blah, 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 and all of those regulations. Will you tell us and explain, did you bring your application to us?
Yeah. Yeah, we can think what we've done.
Right, let's share it around.
Please. There's not too much to share. Here we are. But as I explained to everybody what would happen. Francis is online, that's it. Thank you.
Joel's on his way.
Blah, blah, blah. Here you go.
Karen's online, approved for us.
Okay, so, told them if I don't have a quorum, it'll all go before the board meeting, since we don't have executive. So you're on, gentlemen.
Any questions?
Well, we'd like you to explain what your concept is. So I'm trying to figure out if you have 70 hours. You have more than 70 hours of operation smart?
No, we looked over the guidelines. at the
Okay,
time.
okay.
Reached out and we did study basically most of the guidelines and that we came here, we did know that there was an approval for another license holder.
Yeah,
Not taking the spot.
They never had a lease. They should have never been
They did.
They
They had a conditional.
a LOI. That's not what you need to apply. Actually, the law stated that you needed a lease to apply.
the law goes back and forth, yeah.
Yeah, so, what happened is I went to the landlord, asked if the place was vacant, buy.
Let me see.
Made it to the control board before anyone else was awarded any proximity. Denied the other license holders. And then the control board, which made it.
Can you speak up?
Yes.
So actually, I'd love if you came and sat at the table because those lovely little owls are what records you for posterity, so we appreciate that. Part of it, please step over down there.
So the, what did you show me? I want to make sure I got it.
Okay, do you have letters of support from the local community?
So we started going around to do that and taking, I got signatures from locals and it wasn't within 2 blocks. And then also I'm still dealing with the control board right now with them awarding proximity to another license holder when we have, the lease of the location. So we're still dealing with the control board. We did not finalize that specific, letter of signature, but we.
As you can imagine, being a community board, one of the most important things is how you deal with the community. Not only your business operations, how you tend to, the hours that you get, but your relationship building with the community to be a successful business. Therefore, you must have all the signatures from local residents and businesses within a 2-block radius to us before December 19th, which is our full board meeting. If you don't, we deny your application because you did no outreach.
We'll get that to you.
It's kind of black and white in the way we operate. We want businesses that fit in with the community, that the community can support, that shows good partnership to the community, whether you're a cannabis or a bar or a private social club. The key is how well you support the community and the community can support you for success. That's the goal, always with licensing.
We'll get you those license, signatures.
So you're going to have on-site consumption?
That was something I wanted to discuss. I see that they texted to yes. The answer is no. I do not plan on applying ever for on-site ever.
And you will sign a stipulation that says that, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's what you will have to sign for us.
We look forward to introducing the legal side, legal cannabis, so people don't get stuck buying, illicit type of stuff.
And the other thing that you have 2 bathrooms and none are ADA. And if I understand correctly, one has to be ADA.
According to,
Required.
is it the control board regulations or is it the community board regulations?
Control board must
Control
have
board.
an ADA.
If you received it without one and the property already didn't have one, the language, I'm pretty sure it states that you.
Not anymore, I'm sorry, no.
You must make the ground floor one ADA accessible. The prior applicant was willing to do that, so we would hold you to the same.
No problem.
Okay, so, and one other thing, you're going to have bicycle personnel delivery. That's what you say.
We would like to, implement it. We're trying to figure out exactly how the best.
We must know where those bikes are gonna be, how they're gonna be stored, what you're gonna do with them. That's all critical for approval from us.
So if you take a look at the front of the
Thank you.
store.
Yeah.
Right, currently you have usually an YPD that parks on the sidewalk over there.
Yeah,
We would highly recommend that you apply for a bicycle parking outside with DOT. It cannot be parked on the sidewalk. You would have to park inside overnight and you would have to park on the street, but absolutely guarantee there's no sidewalk parking.
This is from the school,
Right?
Yeah, so you will,
if that has to be to us before our big meeting, so we can review it.
Yeah.
Before we present it to the larger, and both of you will be there. So we won't make a determination tonight, but you know what your walking papers are, okay?
We can make a recommendation tonight based on all of the following.
Right, we will do that.
Yeah.
That you agree to and whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe we can get you a stipulation that says you agree to it and you will sign it and we will have it for the 19th, okay? So you will, we can talk to Onej.
Hold on, let's just check the hours. It's 70, right?
Yeah,
Is there any chance that you would shut deliveries unmarked car and bicycle? You've got that midnight on all days, which is different unless you're just talking Fridays and Saturdays, because your operating hours are till 7 Monday through Thursday. So is your delivery hours going to be the same as your operating hours, or are you delivering outside of operate?
we're basically requesting to be allowed to deliver, after hours.
no. No.
So would you like to adjust your operating hours at all?
For the delivery?
Okay, I mean, did you want to do Monday through Thursday instead of 10 to 7? Did you want to do like 11 to 8 to accommodate it later in the evening?
Did you want us to give you the answer now, or can we give you when we?
She would like it now.
So if you're looking to deliver, I understand you probably want to catch people after they've come home from the workday to try and accommodate that.
Yeah.
Your hours Monday through Thursday go till 7 p.m. But you open at 10. And you want to push that back to do 11 to 8 Monday through Thursday.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you for offering that.
That would be, and delivery is going to be the same as operating. Okay. Let's see, and there's one other stuff to me.
Sunday, are they deliver on Sunday?
You're delivering on Sundays?
We would like to, for the same amount of hours open, we could do
Yeah.
the same thing for the 1 hour after and the
You
1.
want to do new, no. It's shifting your hours of opening.
Remember, we're not giving you more than 70 hours. You don't get more.
You meant opening the business as well, or
Business as well.
delivery? Okay, so
Sunday you have 11 to 5.
yeah, we can do that. 11 to 8, like, business.
No, you.
That's Monday through Thursday
Right?
Yeah,
for the business and delivery,
Sunday, let's do noon till,
6.
fair enough.
You got to think about the area that you're in as well.
yeah,
It's not,
It's
know,
not conducive.
it's not a morning location. You don't
Yeah.
get a lot of, if you're going to brunch in Chinatown and you're going to try and catch that crowd, it's brunch in Chinatown.
You're pretty far up,
You're pretty far west from them.
yeah,
right, that makes sense.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
So
All right.
what are the bicycle, bicycle hours?
Same exact as operating.
Same as that.
So operating is Monday through Thursday, 11 to 8, Friday and Saturday, 10 to midnight, and Sunday, 12 to 6.
So we will get a stipulation sheet to you, and you know what you have.
Are you planning on doing any buyouts?
What are they?
Nope, he has zero.
Okay,
Like,
like parties.
No, I mean,
But-
we would host the community board one if you.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
You know. Trust me, no. I assume by the music, it's just background music.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember, background music is music we can't hear in the street.
Yeah, feel good music, light music.
Yeah.
And so the one thing I can't tell from your application, from the you have, is where is your queuing and lobby?
Queuing, we don't plan on doing,
Okay.
hope that we, like, is, but I don't think there'll be any queuing. If there is, would you like it at a?
Where's the door? And what is the front entrance
This
look
is
like?
the projected.
Of course.
So here is the, where you're gonna put
So
it
the
here.
door is on the left,
Yeah, this one.
right? Yeah, there are requirements, obviously, for what the front is by law, what you're allowed to put in windows, et cetera, et cetera. We would request that you have a waiting, queuing, and securing area within the property line, so people aren't standing outside.
But we can dedicate a small space for people to live inside, yeah, for sure. So you know, like for you and the community to be comfortable, we don't do any LED lights, like big lighting and things like that. We're as per control board, they want it.
Yep.
Laid out, you know. That's a lot of it.
Well, you can't get too many people in an 800 square foot
Exactly.
Right.
function.
And then the only other thing that we ask, because of where the store is located, and there's a little patch of green space next to that, et cetera, there's mixed-use community buildings down the road that include schools in there, is that you make sure that your security patrols the outside as well as the inside to make sure that you don't gather people in the exterior.
Full-time security, I'm looking to do to hire the after-hour program with the NIPD. And so they send off-duty officers to.
Francis has a question.
You also know, that there's a drug rehab center.
Across the street or right
across
across
the
that?
street.
I believe, did we go into the,
There's no regulations against having something by a drug rehab. It's just something for you to know and to try and develop a relationship with them. We would ask, so, you're not supportive of their patients who are looking to get clean.
but, so you recommend that we go. and-
Well, you go meet them. Yeah,
Same.
yeah.
Part of the 2 block, be a good neighbor.
Yeah, that,
okay. All right,
Francis.
Thank you.
Francis has a question. Francis? Can you unmute?
The question was answered. It was just about the bathrooms and also, the bicycle delivery stuff and the hours actually.
Thanks.
But those,
Then, Onesh cut you off, but I think you're okay. Accidentally. You all right, Francis? All right, gentlemen, thank you. Onesh will get you that. 1 or 2, who's the second? Miriam, let me.
I'm
see.
good.
Okay, good. Francis?
I'm good too. Thank you.
So we have 5.
There's, Karen should be on the,
We don't have her.
in the appendix.
Then we can do a resolution. I have you.
Is that the one?
Right?
Okay, well, let's do provisional, yes.
All right, yeah. Francis, Mariama, Susan, Tammy, and Joel, and Jean. Can I have uh, thank you, a motion?
Motion to accept.
Okay, a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Mark to the community, please
He
make sure
said-
you get everything in by the 19th.
Okay, get it a few days before so we can look at it, please. Go to it.
I'm gonna get signatures right now.
Okay, go run around. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
We're going to do Maxwell's next. I'd like, what? Oh, I'm sorry, Donald, sit. I'm gonna do 48 Wall. That's I promised them and I'm gonna do that. I have a whole contingent, so I'm going to do them. So we had a resolution. It was, but I'm doing it right, I'm typing. No. Okay. I'm sorry, this won't take that long. I'm disrupting Donald as well, the attorney, but I'm going to do this. I get a prerogative. Thank you.
I didn't get any applause. I mentioned it.
First one to approve.
It's out of line, right?
Yes. Oh, thank you. Oh, my God. All right. So I'm just want very quickly to go back over.
Okay, my darling.
Please try and be very quiet on your way out the door. Thank you.
So, thank you, 48 Wall Street. So a number of us went on a tour. They have a new security proposal to us here, which is very extensive, but thank God the first 2 pages, give you an overview. And we had some concerns, and that's why they're back. We had approved the resolution. We looked at the space, and we gave them hours, and I want to review the hours so we're all in agreement. And then we'll go through the issue of the traffic. That's the biggest concern for us, and they know that.
I have a motion to untable the resolution that is tabled.
No. Okay, we're tabling the resolution.
One second.
All in favor for my committee, okay. The untable.
Thank you.
Thank God. Anyway, so you all know, you're out, we had changed your hours, you agreed to it. We agreed, but the real question for us, I don't know whether we have a picture, is 48 is across from Cipriani, okay? And Cipriani doesn't always abide by the rules and the car traffic and everything else. And this is a security system, I'm going to tell you, that I feel much more confident with and a plan than we had the last time. And I think they'll make Cipriani a little better. But the real issue for us, for people expressed at our tour, was the queuing away from the subway. So Michael can talk to that. And the other was that it isn't just what happens on Wall Street. It is down the block on William, where there are residences all the way down to Hanover Square, where I happen to live, and where they're honking and traffic. And one of our concerns has been that I see traffic guys and they're looking at their phone and they're not doing anything with traffic. So I don't need them to repeat everything, but this is a group. Michael, go to it. Give me 5 minutes and no more, all right?
Okay. Nice to meet everyone. Michael Speed. I am the security director of the Barclays Center, but also under this project as well. So we took a look at the property itself and looked at it holistically in terms of how traffic flow would be, both pedestrian and guest. And I want us to all imagine the fact that this is a hosted event where people are purchasing tickets to as we described it, a Cirque style show. So we'll have the ability to manage flows and understand when we would expect crowds, utilize this through ticketing management, and have our seated guests entering in at certain times based on that flow. We've seen the area and we've walked the area, so we have an understanding of how much of footpath traffic that we have outside. And we want to make the process of getting our guests into the venue as frictionless as possible. We use that term sparingly. In terms of checking tickets, allowing guests in and then queuing them and utilizing the space within the building itself to process guests and encourage pre-event functions.
Mike, I'm gonna just jump in and say, I'm one of the biggest detractors to this conversation, and I'll be straightforward with you because I know from clients who have toured your space as a private event venue. We've had numerous amounts of, this will be a 4-ticket only, or this will be a museum, large spaces lately, who have then turned into a 6-day-a-week venue. The traffic flow, pedestrian impact of venues are exceedingly different than tickets. Any show has an arrival pattern, timed, et cetera, but an event venue, everyone arrives for a certain particular time and everyone leaves. And there is gathering before and after on the streets, and it's an issue. It's the largest issue that you have around event venues. My concern is this is one of the major obstacles we had with Cipriani across the street from you. They are required to have, because of it, doormen, for lack of a better expression, and valet people, which some days work, some days don't. And the issue on the event is, what part of the street are you closing down for load in and load out?
So this is a staged event where there
No,
would
no,
be.
when you do private events, because I know from a client who toured your space, and we have a board member who toured for an event. So it wasn't as if they were coming for a ticketed event. They were coming to host a private event for 300 people in the space, and they were toured.
Yeah.
So that is what I need to hear about, because that was completely missing from the first application.
So we don't currently occupy the space. It's actually a different operator currently in the space. So
Well,
Doesn't
but
mean,
she's asking, listen to what she's
doesn't mean
saying.
the usage is not possible and doesn't mean the usage is not probable.
understood.
So that is what I want to hear about. And especially if it, period.
We know
what's
you
the
have,
plan?
you know, what we talked about on our tour is that we can't control the private events that they have now, and they have 20 a month or even more. You have timed entry. But what if you want to do a private event for someone? That's what she's asking.
I think
Okay,
it's
so answer the question.
in large part when we discussed the private event issue, because Onej was kind enough to sort of let me know that that's something
He's
we'll
a good-
discuss. When I discussed it.
I don't want to zap you. I mean,
No,
this is how.
No,
We appreciate it. When we discussed the private event concept, no one felt like the method of operation or the traffic and security processes would differ that much. We can also, I understand, we can also have agreements and arrangements for private events that require certain types of entry, exit. We would require them to use our pickup, drop off operations. We require a certain number of security. I don't think it's out of the question. We will be the lessees of this space. It's in our best interest to maintain that space. So when I asked for input, the general consensus of the team, which is quite extensive, was we plan to have private events operate much like our ticketed events.
Well, I have a different question.
Did we discuss?
No, we never
Yeah, we
did.
never discussed how
Never
many private
discussed,
events.
because we
Yeah.
didn't, we weren't there. How many private events
Right.
do you think you're going to have in a year?
I think you asked us to limit it to 12 a year.
Yeah, one a month, I said,
Correct.
or if you wanted 2 a month, but no more than 12 a year. Are we correct?
Yes.
And we talked about you could gang them up, like,
Correct.
Yeah.
during holidays,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
We did discuss.
that will be in our expanded resolution.
Susan, my question is.
Yeah, go on.
Hi, good evening. So how do you sync up with Cipriani? If you're having an event the same night, they're having an event, you know, a lot of times I'm walking home from the train station going up Wall Street, and Cipriani has an amazing event. And they actually have the barricades up. And no one's really allowed, depending on security and what the event is, what the profile is of the people that are coming. So if the street is blocked off, how are you gonna get your people in there? So my question is, when you're double dipping on the same night, as Susan, you know, reiterated, how bad traffic is already. And then of course we have immersive there, not helping at all either, but so far they've been pretty good. I'm just worried about on the same day, what happened?
I'll let Shannon, who's our chief hospitality officer, answer that because he's spent quite a few days with Cipriani and
Shannon.
also observing.
So I actually spent the majority of over the last week between Cipriani and 48 Wall Street with their team and then obviously with the pre-existing tenant, getting a better understanding of like how the architecture works in their evening, whether it's a fully closed off event, which in this case, they used both spaces simultaneously, which we wouldn't anticipate really happening, but.
Because they would have the tents in front of you.
Correct. So. With us, in sharing schedules and ensuring that we can work together to at least as much as we possibly can, dodge any potential conflict that we would have, which would create disruption in flows or like pedestrian traffic or our traffic. So it wouldn't shut down our side of the sidewalk, so we would be able to funnel everybody in correctly. Mike and I had discussed this a little bit at length on what our solution would be. I'll let him piggyback on this.
Wait, I'm sorry, Mike. My question is, okay, it's not a question.
Yeah.
Don't have events on the same night.
Well, they can't, it's impossible.
Why? Where
But
you
they're
have
gonna
the
have-
We have a
events,
ticketed event, like.
They're gonna have.
no, I mean,
Oh, yeah,
a
that-
private event.
Well, that,
private
we would
meeting.
try to
Yeah.
work.
Right.
I wouldn't
You know
wanna
what?
do that.
Okay,
I'm not
so
into
that's.
But you can't. They
Yeah,
can't.
it just. would
I'm
be a
not, but
challenge.
I'm gonna say something here, and I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think that these guys are gonna make Cipriani better.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
what I believe.
I believe.
They don't run and do what they do, all the places they do, and they explained it to us. So I'm putting my bet on them, and I'm hoping I'm not
We
wrong.
both are.
Are you using the same event production teams that are currently in place on site? Or are you bringing in all your own people?
All our own people. We don't really have, I mean, we'll chat with the current operator as to what, operations look like in terms of delivery and pickup, but it's a completely different concept. I think
Yeah.
the gentleman who's running it now has 20 or so private events a month. He doesn't have a liquor license, but there's liquored events, so there's some kind of permit situation happening.
Yeah.
He's had upwards of 700 people in there, as witnessed by Shannon on Saturday.
Crazy.
It's a very different beast, if I can
It's the
say.
landlord making money.
On a Saturday night, you now see one of the issues that we have as a community, because what you're looking at on a Saturday night in December is what it looks like Tuesday through Saturday.
Yeah.
In the entire, for 3 weeks in December, it starts to look that way in the nonprofit season.
Yeah.
So it's not it's not great for the community, and more buildings are turning residential around it.
Well, they know that. They're
But you're
right
going,
next door.
going now from 20 events a month like that to only one a month.
Well,
like
no,
that.
you may have, don't, you may have more in December. That's
but-
okay. We understand that.
Right.
We're not.
It's gonna be a great
So-
improvement.
Just in addition to that, because you make extremely valid and we hear you 100%. And when I went on Saturday night to work with the Cipriani's team, I actually showed up before I was expected to show up, and I just was a wallflower. I just sat there and I
Did you see
watched.
the cars?
I saw the cars, I saw how pedestrian traffic was handled, I saw how their guests were handled, I saw the entirety of it. And immediately was on the phone with Mike and said, we need this, we need this, we need this. Here's how when you say that you think that we can help them better.
This is.
So this is one, how they place their individuals. Two, there will be time differential between their events and our events. I would force that to happen. Separately, when their events are increased, one of the things that I would actually do is when the event's in the space, you have your staff still there. They don't leave, they don't go on break, like they would still be there looking after our space. That's when we'd be able to actually support and make it a bit actually more of an efficient operation on the entirety of the block. Not only the block here on Wall Street, but like you said, surrounding
It's
on
gotta go
William,
down.
100%, and then
Yeah.
further down, actually, further,
Almost to Pearl.
100%. So
Yeah.
Don't leave out the hotel next to you.
I know that as well. So I spent a lot of time over the last week really genuinely understanding the flow of everything around the entirety of the space. And I work very, very closely with Mike and Adina, and I beg to say that they probably know this even better than I do, and I've been in the industry for 30 years. So he's our specialist. Adina also is specialist in this. We immediately started working on what we could do to not only be complementary to them, but almost a bit more influential in what it is that they do.
And focusing on ticketed events, we have toggles and the ability to communicate to guests more than you do for private events, much more. And we have the ability to control, sorry, guests.
No, that's okay, Mike. But I think our biggest concern, one of the biggest concerns is the queuing down the street and outside. And we talked about when they leave, which they're smoking, they may be drunk, whatever they may be.
Or hire vehicle pickup.
And for hire the vehicle pickup and getting them out and getting them away from where the residential area where people live and it's 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is, and they're making noise and we can't control it.
Correct.
We also talked about in your literature, you were going to make sure that you suggest very strongly that people take public transport.
Correct. And again, we're leveraging our expertise and scaling our use of our arena in Brooklyn that manages 18,000 people a night, sometimes 300 nights a year, to be able to push communications to guests, to be able to encourage mass transit, to be able to work with the
The
Ubers.
problem is, it's a lazy generation and they take black cars. That's what it is. I can't help it. I take the subway, they don't. And that's the real issue for us.
Right.
So,
Okay.
I make Subway to Barclays, because I've been there often enough, but I always block our back.
I have someone, wait, Joe, I want before you go, I have someone online, Mariama, who would like to say something.
Hi, thank you, Susan. I just had I guess a clarifying question about the operator, because I mean, I know there's a million Michaels in the world, but I took a tour of the space with another organization I'm on the board of, and we were to meet somebody named Michael as well, that was the operator. When we arrived there, he had become unavailable, and this happened on 2 occasions actually, and we instead met with a Caribbean gentleman, I forget what his name was, but I was under the impression that the people who are operating it now are who are also working right now on the construction there, as well as another nearby space. So is that wrong?
I think it's wrong for these people, and I'll let them answer themselves, but it's not our understanding, and that Michael has nothing to do with any other Michael.
Correct.
All right, and that's what
Okay.
they're saying.
Okay, I just
Okay,
wanted to make
so-
sure that also the space, did I hear, maybe it's the other operator that's trying to squeeze as many as 700 people into it? Because we were planning a sit-down event for only 350 and determined that it was too small for that. So I would really be concerned about, an overcapacity situation.
Totally different.
Yeah,
We have
I
the
think there was a
maximum.
little,
Go on.
yeah, for clarification purposes, the 700 number was what happened this past weekend that we observed. That's not our operation.
I see, okay.
Oh, there's a different Michael that works there now.
doesn't matter.
It's
doesn't
Mike
matter.
with the T. It's
It's
Mike
not the
Soberai.
same,
Yeah,
Mariama.
exactly.
And this is a totally different group. I can't control, but we can't control the landlord who doesn't need our liquor licenses because he's doing special events, and that's
Right,
what's been
yeah.
going.
Well, we were planning an event for this coming May. So that's why I wanted to clarify, because
That's what I
we
was
weren't
gonna
planning
ask
an event
Mary.
for now, but the people that we met with are whoever's there now, planning this event that we're gonna have in May or June.
But Mariam, hold on, it's Pat. When are you going to get the lease?
Who knows?
A work in progress.
It's a work in progress. Like, we have to get through this process.
They
be able
have to get through this. What I understand, they don't anticipate opening until next year, next October, not October to November, somewhere
Correct.
around.
Yes.
Am I correct?
2025.
Yes.
What's your anticipated construction period look like for build out inside?
20 months? About 6 months?
That's the possibility.
But then you'd have to get the lease.
By May.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
well,
latest.
that's.
So I don't know how you're gonna do your event.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, Mariama, you better find a new
Have
space.
questions, no, talk to
Yeah,
us.
so, I love you guys, I just, Just trying to figure out the logistics. So Cipriani has an event for a couple of thousand people, which they've had. And then you're gonna piggyback that event the same night. As it is right now, it's gridlock on Beaver Street, on South Freedom Street, on Wall Street. Now you're adding more bars and more traffic. I'm not sure how you get around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to differentiate our operations and frankly, the clientele between Cipriani's and what we're doing. Like, we're doing a 3-generational show with families and kids, likely local. We're right in front of the subway. Cipriani's and their 1,000-people events are high-heeled, tuxedo, private drivers that idle, red carpet, meet and greet. It's a very different, I can't make promises on behalf of Cipriani's, obviously, but our clientele and our operations are so different that I don't think we'll be, that we will impact as much as you think we may, even if it's events on the same night. Our messaging is very different too, like our website, when you buy a ticket, you know, if you sign up for text messages, we'll let you know there's construction, there's an event, please take the subway, it's right in front of the venue. We're pretty aggressive with the messaging all around.
So,
It's all staggered,
yes,
so it's not that all 500 people will show up at the same time.
If we give you our confidence, I hope the hell you do it, really, because we'll be on your behinds if you don't.
Well, two, it also really supports, it supports us operationally. So for us to be able to do this, it's not just, it's the entirety of the operation.
My only concern, because you weren't here for the last meeting, and they know it, so I'm saying it out loud. I got in there and I looked at the space and I said, how is this operator gonna do what he's claiming he wants to do? They're in it, it's theirs to do. It's fascinating to me, and I will be certainly very interested in seeing it work. I hope it does. And if Joe wants to take a tour, give him a tour.
Yeah, good job.
yeah.
You know, one of the things that I don't recall us discussing, because it's my area of expertise, what are we doing about the garbage?
So garbage will be picked up overnight. Similar, I'm gonna digress really quick and I'll get to this answer. This is one of the conversations that I had with the Cipriani's team is doubling up on a lot of the resources that they kind of use. So,
Great.
so garbage will be one of them. Deliveries are gonna be a big part of that as well. So if they have a specific fish vendor,
Right.
we'll be using the
We
same
always
fish
ask.
vendor.
Good.
If it's the garbage, we're gonna ensure it happens at the same time. So if it's
Right.
I'm speaking hypothetically, 2 AM, ours will be at 2 AM as well. So we're really gonna like link up with them and they 100% agreed already to share that schedule with us. So
Okay, great.
in order to us even opening our doors, all of that will be seen.
And where is the garbage actually going to live on the street?
That, I think,
So,
we're looking to build a full temperate space inside, so we would. hold it
Oh, we
internally-
would love
internally,
you forever.
And then we would
the right-
bring it out
Ah,
the hour before.
fantastic.
That would be
So-
fabulous.
Fantastic.
For me,
You're gonna
it's-
tempt.
Correct, so it
Would be
keeps
so
things smelly inside, but then also it really makes our operations much more efficiently inside, as well as it keeps everybody else.
We were one of the first communities that asked that people, if possible, if it's new construction, build a cold room for your garbage so that you don't. have to take too much.
That's a great question, just sometimes we don't necessarily think of that.
Yeah,
so
great.
I did not take the
Yeah,
tour
when they-
specifically
The food truck.
because I'm an events person. So I really didn't want to take the tour because it's just easier for me to ask the questions in a
Yeah.
public environment.
Sure.
Food trucks. Food trucks need permits if you're going to have a food truck associated with events or associated with your venue. Have you investigated, because you have food truck operator in front of 48 Wall? You've seen the street. I don't see how that's actually going to be a quality ad for the community. So can you explain what the food truck in front of 48 Wall is and what we're looking like, especially after you were there on Saturday night and saw?
My understanding is when Cipriani has an event and they ask the food truck to move, he does move out of the way. And we've had preliminary discussions with the food truck and he seems amenable to working with us as well. I mean, we certainly wouldn't
Legally
want,
park there.
yeah.
No,
And-
he's not
and-
legally parked and he's.
And I
usually-
understand the enforcement issues, like I'm well aware of, you know, that he'd rather take the fine than move the truck, blah, 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 but my understanding is he moves when Cipriani asks, he'll move when we ask, and maybe if we ask enough times, he'll actually go to his designated spot.
In your dreams, Alex.
Well, we had 10 months to chat with him and get it done,
I-
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we would prefer, he is an impetus to having that street be viable for
Right.
pedestrians.
It's really a
And-
problem.
And commercial deliveries, let's be honest, he's in the way. of
And with the
deliveries.
construction right next to it, you just
Correct.
like,
Yeah,
it's like
it's
that
a
much
mess.
more difficult.
Correct.
So,
So we would ask you not to actually engage to evaluate the impact of the food truck. We already know that we're not really thrilled with that food truck illegally parking, so we would ask that you not encourage and engage the illegal behavior more than, would you please move along? Because that would certainly make it easier for everybody.
Yes.
And assumably, if you have any food inside, he's gonna take away from whatever you're gonna be able to sell it to.
Right.
Great.
okay, any other questions? May I have a call?
Call the question.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? And online?
Yes, I.
And I want
Hi.
to come back and continue the dialogue. It's, as I said before, for the first applicant, it's about developing good partnerships with the community. For those of us with families and kids, we're really looking forward to another place to take them.
And thank you for getting a new.
And that's what I said to you guys the other day, that we feel that you're going to be someone we can work with because you have not been ready to have questions and come back with
So
that.
thank
So
you.
thank
And you have a great lawyer, so that.
you. Exactly. Yeah. Love it.
Meeting with resolution with some of the revisions.
You
Okay.
want us there for the board
No,
meeting?
I don't think you
You
need
can
to
be on,
You can be online, but
All right.
if you need, if we need to call on you,
Yeah.
we would not ask you to do anything at the full board, but if you're there and people from the board have questions, I will call on you.
Yeah, sure. We'll have, I'll try and get my experts available
Okay.
too, so.
thank you all.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
Guess who's next? Okay.
I'm
so
so excited.
Where are we?
we're at, we're going to Maxwell.
Going to Maxwell's. Okay.
We're not going, but the committee.
Right, the agenda is going to Maxwell's.
Let me preface this before Maxwell speaks and before I have a number of people from the community and the building. Maxwell has withdrawn its alterations request. Postponed, sorry, postponed. That's
Very
my
different.
fantasy,
from-
yes.
sure.
Postponed. And so that will not be discussed tonight, okay? The real question is, I want you all to understand something, all the community people who are here.
Well, let's raise a hand for who's here from Maxwell's, from the establishment themselves?
David's online.
I'd like to you to sit at the table, please.
Um,
And who is here from the community? Hands up.
yeah, I got a lot.
Okay, fantastic. I'm gonna ask you to shift down a little bit so the cameras can get you.
For those who are online and here for Maxwell's, can you please use the raise hand function so it gets to you?
And I will remind everybody in the room, there cannot be crosstalk on the side. I do hear somebody who's unmuted, by the way. Because people who are online, who are trying to hear, cannot hear if you are having side conversations. The background noise gets picked up to a level that it obliterates the person speaking at the table. So I'd ask that it be nice and orderly and calm and no claps, no cheers, no boos.
So I want to explain to someone here, this is, to everybody here, this is a renewal, all right? I am always loath to reject the SLA, because if we reject, they overrule us more often than not. I understand that Maxwell's has been a problem for the community, and we are very respectful of it, and I want you to know that. And I want to hear all of you, and I want you to keep it limited. But this is a renewal, and what our committee is thinking about is writing, not that necessarily that SLA will deal with it, but discussing the renewal in a resolution to SLA with a letter from us, okay, on the renewal and some of the difficulties. And I just wanted to preface that before we move on. and what I feel some of our limits are, okay? Donald, are you gonna speak?
Yeah, let me just say a few things and then I'll turn it over to David, and if Kyle has anything to add, he can speak as well. We were here last month and you gave us an opportunity to address some of the issues. We were not here a few months ago when the residents had been invited and had a certain number of concerns and complaints. But we did come last month, and Susan, you gave us a full opportunity to address a number of the issues, so I don't want to repeat all of
Thank you.
those. I think as I heard it and from some of the comments of the committee, I think there was some understanding that we have been frustrated in trying to resolve some of these issues, specifically expending a few $100,000 in soundproofing, for which we need the consent of the building and the board. And we have made requests, I think, David will correct me, going back to April or May, had not gotten responses. And that has sort of frustrated us because we are trying to take some active steps to alleviate some of those issues in the interior portion of the space. The way we left it after last month was you encouraged both sides to get off their horses and meet and talk about some of these issues. I have not been personally involved in that, so I can't speak to it. David will. My understanding is that there have been attempts to reach out, that the responses were not coming initially over the past month. I think within the past day or two, there was some feedback that could have some progress. It came a little late, but it came, which is one reason why we thought we'd put over the alteration. Rather than pressing that, let's see if this is an opening to a real dialogue. So we'll come back next month on
The alteration.
the alteration.
I'm gonna take umbrage on the real dialogue conversation, because you have to understand why we had the community come first. The community came to us out of frustration. We're a community board, that's why we're here. So yes, the community board came to speak with us. Then you came to speak with us, because everybody should have the opportunity to bring what they can to us. We encouraged the community in the very beginning to go to the MEND process and to try and work with you guys. So we have been nothing but attempting to give balance for everyone. I need to make that really clear. We also, for the public, do not revoke or permit. We are an advisory role to the SLA. SLA, without a doubt, knows that there is a problem, no offense intended in my characterization. There is a community problem with the applicant and that there have been complaints. The SLA has started an investigation based on that, and further violations that are done through 311 and 911, not through us, but we ask to be copied on them once you've levied them, right, will result in larger fines. We also understand that the business is trying to operate. There is confusion as to what kind of an operation it is. What we, the public community board, understood is it is a private social club. A private social club is not something that the public lines up for every day, is not something that runs private events several nights a week. A private social club is a private social club. We have many private social clubs that you hear not a nary of a complaint about in Lower Manhattan. All kinds of them. Some that are designed for people with children, some that are designed for other types of people and corporate and everything. There's a whole slew of them in CB1. So you are not so, focused, hyper pointed out anything because you're a social club. We have many down here who are great neighbors. I am telling you this because there seems to be a lot of confusion, both on the part of Maxwell's and the public, about who we are and what we do, right? And I want to make sure that we're supportive of not both sides of the equation, because it doesn't sound right. I mean, I hear you when you say you've spent thousands of dollars, but the building won't let you. Then how
That's
could
not what I
you?
said.
No,
That's not what I
he
said.
didn't say
He said they spent thousands of dollars on money on soundproofing.
No, I said that we
Plan.
that. Plan.
are proposing to, and I was not critical at all. I think, in fact, I think that I mentioned that the committee with Susan leading it, I think was saying to both sides that you guys have to get together. So
We're trying.
I I support everything you've done. I'm not.
So it's a strange question though. I mean, just as, that's something that I don't understand. And I guess it's like a question I tell my kids. If you keep trying to be friends with the same people and they don't want to be friends with you, why aren't you going to look for another location? I know that sounds like a
No,
crazy question, but.
It is a crazy question because when you sign a lease for a period of years and you're bound by that lease and you're having a business, you know, the fact is and I've been doing this a long time and I deal with a number of community boards. And sometimes there are people that have legitimate concerns and complaints and we do our best to address them. And the fact is you can't make everybody happy. And every once in a while in a community, you get someone that says, I don't want you there. I don't care what you say you're going to do. I don't want you there. And you can't always, and I'm not naming any names, I'm just saying that sometimes you can't come to a resolution with everybody. I think that if there are people that say, we don't want a social club in our building, period, that we're not going to come to a resolution. But if there are people that say, we'd like you to do well, but we were concerned about these things, we are prepared to sit down with those people and address those issues. Now, just to correct, Tammy, what you said, we have proposed doing soundproofing that will cost us, I think, about $300,000. But we can't do that construction without the approval. So we've made a request for consent to get that approval and take it over, because
We have a historical summary online that we have put everything in, both that you have sent us, that the community has sent us. There's a public drive that anybody in this room can go see. That's part of the materials for the meeting. And I've seen most of it because most of it gets sent to me.
I have a question.
Please wait your turn. Hands up. All right. I'm gonna turn this back.
David or Kyle.
Maybe I could, just address it.
I just want to say something, all right, because I think it's critical that you hear this. It's not just the building. The building is a whole complex situation, all right? I can't get into it in the co-op and who owns what and what's going on, all right, and your landlord, all right? But the larger community has reported to us their anguish, I don't know how else to put it, about the noise, the smoking, the carrying on at the hours. I am very respectful of the people who live there, but we are also concerned as a community board with the neighbors who have written us and talked to us and say, I live across the street, I live down the way. It's terrible to walk by. So that's what we're responding to as well, okay?
May I speak? Yeah, so I'm Kyle Channing Pierce, David's co-founder, started Maxwell.
Don't give me the Shabbat business. I don't want to hear it.
I'm not Jewish.
Oh, all right, that's fine.
I'm an ally though. So I'd really frame this up into two different things. The one is the concerns with the building. The second one is the concerns outside of the building.
Yes.
To tie in what Donald said, and thanks for speaking, Don, there's a full spectrum of issues here. And some of that falls within we just don't want them within our building, full stop. Some of them falls within we actually could have been better neighbors ourselves. And that's on both sides. That's within the building. And then that's, with events and having people outside. We're doing our level best to continue to make improvements, change things. So Trina and David have been in contact. I think we were almost issue-free in terms of the communication that we've had up until about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Well, we didn't get communication, but there was an event. There was a lot of noise outside. We've since basically that member is no longer they've removed the privileges to have a party, and the people who are basically yelling outside, they've been banned, they've been put on the blacklist from the event list. So we've been building the software that allows us to do that. So we are making changes in that manner. We are frankly scaling back our space permits up until 240 people. We're scaling that back so that we aren't causing a lot of upset to the building in terms of the frequency and the number.
How do you figure 240? I thought it was a smaller number.
That's on the permit, the assembly.
I'm sorry, how much?
240.
That's not what we have. on your original stipulation.
I
Now,
hope
that may
it's-
be with your alteration that you're hoping for that, but that's not what we have on the one that goes to one AM, which I'm looking for.
Okay,
I
well,
moved that document today,
uh,
and it's 162 or 63.
Yeah,
okay, well, I need to relook into that, but the point is we're scaling that back. But we're also scaling back the
I'm sorry,
frequency.
scaling back from 240 or scaling back from 163?
Or scaling back, so I think we'll be having parties around 100 to 150 type thing. That's,
So I need it more than I think, because you're telling me 240. We looked at what we see online here, and we have 162, 162.
okay, well, yeah.
You're already in violation for what you've been doing.
Where do you see the 162? I'm not clear where you're getting
I'm getting it from your original application,
from
Donald.
the questionnaire.
And DOB, she got it today.
DOB is
And it's
200.
right here, Donald. I want to read
Look
it
at
to
the
you.
CMO.
On the
you ordered the
Richmond
place in December?
resolution said approximately 162 persons and 4,900 square feet, ground floor,
No lower level.
no lower level. Now, remember, we're talking about a renewal here. We're talking about the existing. I'm not talking about alteration. We're not going anywhere there today. But this is from the original.
I think the point is we're interested in being in compliance. I wasn't aware of that, but we would be in compliance with that anyway
It's
for,
right here, but it's also your operation. You should be aware of what numbers that you have submitted to everyone.
That's what I was.
Yes, and the.
So that's not occupancy, that's load per square foot, it's weight, it's not people.
yeah, that's why.
Your
You have
public
to wait.
assembly comparison.
I know you can. That's not the way it goes.
I know, but I've had my hand up.
I know, but you
No, they're
can't.
gonna talk
The
first,
public
and then-
goes after, all right?
Thank you.
Okay,
No, so my question, I have a question.
go.
So you said you had a member that had a party and they were loud. So your operation is that individual members of your group can have individual parties? It isn't that the organization has a party? So if I'm a
Yes.
member and I pay membership, I can just have a party
Supervised, of course. Yeah,
supervised by,
supervised by the staff.
You can have.
so
a
why
part
did the
of it.
staff stop all the noise outside?
They were.
Well, why did we get complaints about the noise outside?
It's not one party that have been.
No, but he just said last week.
I'm talking about a party that has happened recently. So
Yeah.
I'm saying, I'm using this as a way to show what we're doing to work on specific issues. I think David would like to speak as well. He's raising his hand, by the way.
David wants to speak on that.
He has to go shortly, so.
You move on to a panelist.
David first?
Yeah,
And,
Hey there, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I've been trying to raise my hand here for a little bit, but I get it. Yeah, to be clear, I don't know what that place assembly, I think we have a place assembly of 240. I think there was some confusion when the liquor license application was filed. Maybe the place assembly was that at that time. But the Department of Buildings is the department that regulates place of assembly, and we were not seeking to deceive anyone when we did that. I'm not sure if that was the current place assembly, what it was at, but I'm honestly don't even remember if we ended up filing to increase it or if there turns out there was more capacity available. But this, what we submitted to you at the time was correct, and also it ended up changing. So to be clear, I think Kyle's point about scaling things back is simply that we're making a good faith effort here to throw less of the types of events that end up ending around one and shifting more and more of our business towards different types of events that end earlier and pursuing a different type of matrix of ways of engaging in the space. But we're not reducing our place of assembly. And in the spirit of transparency, no, I'm not saying that we're all of a sudden going to start operating at 160 either. But there's a effort being made to basically conform to something that makes it easier to be a member of the community.
I will say that Onej pulled the DOB public assembly today
Right.
off of online. So I'd like to find where you think it's 240 and we think it's 162.
It's just 160.
Okay.
Right, that's what I'm
Keep-
thinking.
Keep in mind that no matter what that number is, that includes the number of staff you have in the building. Right? So if you have 40 people who are there for staff, you cannot have an event for 240 people. And from the way we're looking at it, where you had 162 people in 4,900, that means a party of 122 people with 40 staff.
I mean, we don't have 40 staff, but I take your point.
But the point being, it's 162 is the maximum that you are allowed in terms of occupancy. So you tell me,
He says he has a different, we have to.
Yeah, I did not realize we were coming to this meeting tonight to discuss the actual occupancy level. Otherwise, I would have gone and investigated this more myself. We have a different understanding than you do. So I don't think we're willing to concede the point that we need to be way below what we're saying, or this is the first time this is being brought up to us. Sorry?
Is an occupancy a question on the questionnaire?
well, the original was 162, okay? And that's what our understanding. Onesh picked up today from DOB, the occupancy is 162. They are saying something, else, okay? They're saying 240, whatever. So that has to be dealt with. Before I let the community speak, and if David has more to say, Mark, you came in late. The real issue, I'm not blaming you, I know, no, but the concern of ours, it's a complex situation. And we know that because it's a co-op with an owner who lives in the bed, an operator, blah, 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 blah. It's, you could get tied up in your underwear on this one. But the real issue is what's happening on the street and what's happening in the community and how people are upset by it because you're not controlling what happens. And that is our concern. This is not some hotspot neighborhood, by the way. And so it is an issue. And I don't see it being rectified in any way. And we've had plenty of time to try to rectify it, and it hasn't happened. So you're saying this is a renewal, and I have, I told you when we started, I have real concerns about the SLA. Nobody wants to put you out of business. At least we don't. That's not our role. Don't look like that. We don't. That's not what we want. What we're saying is we expect you to be good neighbors, and we expect you to try to resolve the situation. So if you don't have anything else to say.
I have something else to say. Can I quickly say something?
Absolutely.
I do believe that we've been very attentive on the night that Kyle was referring to. I emailed Trina back first of all, she emailed me at 12:10. This wasn't like 4 a.m. I emailed her back at 3:40 in the morning and then again at 8 a.m, basically figuring out exactly what happened. Ultimately, hospitality is a people business. We can't always, on an extremely quiet street, somehow always control that when someone leaves, they'll be talking loudly. I've been there on slow nights when 4 people leave and there's someone halfway down the street and someone decides to yell after them. It's inevitable that there will be some noise. And I think that we are being held to an extremely high standard here of absolute quiet. And we have, and the incidence level here, we've been in touch with Trina in the building across the street for, I think it must be 6 or 7 months now, and being very responsive. And, for I think about a month and a half or so, every other week or so, I emailed Trina asking if things were good or not. And I think every night other than one, I was told that they were. And I thought we were good for a while. And then until 3 weeks ago, there was an incident that, was unfortunate. And in this business, there will be incidents. And we shut the bar down early. Because we didn't like what was going on, and we basically decided, okay, and we apologized profusely to her and blacklisted the people. So I'm not quite sure. We're going to continue to try to improve on that. We've decided, like I said, that to some extent, want to continue to prioritize an earlier side of our business. But yeah, there will be incidents, and I do believe that we're being held to a standard that is what the standard when there's only one establishment on the street.
David, let me ask you something. This is not the first time you guys went through a MEND hearing. So clearly, this is not, last week is not the first time. I mean, let's
I didn't say it was the first time.
I understand that, but you've been open how many years now?
A year and a half.
A year and a half.
Well,
And-
2 years, I guess, exactly, concerning this is the renewal, but yes, we've been mostly operating for a little shorter than that.
Okay, so you've been open for several years. You've had complaints for several years from neighbors and things. How often, how many times before last week did you make an effort to do the same thing that you're telling us now? I'm feeling a little bit like,
A ton. I mean, I could show you the email train with one building residence, the Trina alone. Absolutely.
how many times? No, you didn't answer my question. How many times, based on community concerns of noise outside from the local neighbors, have you and the organization met with whoever was the host of the party and either told them they would not be able to host again or shut the bars or done? How many times has that happened in the last, I'll even say year and a half, since post-COVID, we'll say?
I'd only say it got to the point where we decided we needed to get shut down only a couple times. But the point is that I think it took us a while, admittedly. It took us, hold on a second. I answered the question. I did. I said a couple times.
The question is, how many times have you met with your members and discussed with them that the neighborhood is upset with the noise and the commotion and people congregating outside? That's the question. How many times have you met with them? So to say that, this happened last week or 2 weeks ago, you've had a year and a half of people complaining. You've had a year and a half of, them coming to the community board and you discussing it with your members that the community was upset with what was going on. So last week it's not good to come to us and say, we don't accept that you come to us and say 2 weeks ago this happened.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I have to clarify, that is not what I'm saying. I said, I used it as an example. I've said that, first of all, there are multiple questions being asked. How many times we shut down the bar? How many times we spoke to our members? How many times we met with community? Those were all thrown in there. I'm not sure which one I'm answering right now. We've only shut down the bar twice in the entire time that we've operated. We've had many conversations with community, with our community members, because the amount of times we had to update for them why we couldn't do something, or why there was a restriction, or why we were changing, shutting down the bar at 12:40 to 12:30 to 12:15 at various points, and continually changing the rules on them. We had to update them numerous times as to why. We had to update them every single time one of our security guards outside told them to quiet down, and we hired multiple security guards and increased security. So it is not fair to characterize us as have only cared 2 weeks ago. I gave 2 weeks ago as an example of what happens still, even when you hire security, when you try your best to do all this stuff and improve all the processes, and how we have come very, very far. And we've been trying to solve this for, I'd say, about 10 to 12 months, since Joan started writing her letters, and the first time I think we sat down with Trina, and there's been multiple, email correspondences with the building across the street, and obviously with our building. So no, we did not try to stop this or solve it 2 weeks ago. That is not what I was saying.
Okay, let's move on from this one, because we're not gonna get a resolution. I have Francis on a video, who wants to say something. Francis?
Yeah, things happen for a reason. And and so I think that because you have not responded to the community's request for the problems that you've been causing, it got to this point, and now we're looking at the history, and where there's other things that are coming up, such as the occupancy and how it was, and what is it, and you don't even know whether it's 162 or you think it's more than 162, and we have a paper that's saying it's 162. And also with the first issue was the time, and we weren't sure what the time was. It seemed to be there was a discrepancy in the time and the hours. Okay, so you've been operating with under the assumption of the times that were printed there were correct. Fine. And you've not been a good neighbor. So therefore, I think at this point, we need to look at starting from square one and getting information to certify what the occupancy number is, and also to solidify the hours of operation and let the clock start rolling and see how long you can be a good neighbor and take it from there.
Well, the hours at this moment for the renewal are complicated. They are what they are within the hours that they have. The alteration, we're not discussing tonight. That's a whole other issue, and they're gonna come back next week. But the question is about being a good neighbor. And I want to stop us, and I would like, there is a attorney for a group, Mr.
Juan.
Bernstein, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm not. an
You're,
attorney.
you're not an attorney.
No, but you represent the 135 lots?
So I manage
Yes
the
or no?
building.
He manages the
Yeah,
building.
in certain capacities, yes, but I'm here representing an individual resident of the building. I don't have consensus from the board to
Okay,
render an opinion about renewal of their license.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody from across the street? We've received letters, or down the block, or anybody here today? Okay,
And you are?
Trina.
Hi, Trina. Trina Q, right?
Yeah.
And I have Ben Gottesman. And
maybe he's online.
Lee Fong, Jen. Roger Perlmutter,
Yes, he's online.
okay. Bennett,
And it is online.
Joan, and then the Jonathan said,
Jonathan's from the
Jonathan's
building.
here for the other gentleman. Who emailed us.
No,
earlier
no, no,
today.
no, no. Jonathan is here.
For Ronald Gutman.
For Bruce Weber and Ann Bush. 28% shareholders of the.
The building.
Interestingly, Mr. Ron Gutman also emailed asking for you to
He's
speak,
maybe online.
on his
Yeah,
behalf.
I'm happy to.
But let me, Trina, you do not live in the building.
No, I don't.
Talk to us.
So,
Don't make it more than 2 minutes,
3 minutes.
please. 3 minutes.
All right,
Yeah,
listen.
I'm giving 2 to 3
I'm
and
gonna do my best.
Zach's.
Okay, go.
I could go back and forth on what they.
You can sit right there and
Okay.
sit at the table and talk to the,
Okay.
whatever it
Talk
is.
to the owl.
To the,
Thank you. I'll try to be as brief as possible, but I want to give kind of some context to the situation. A lot of back and forth between the building and Maxwell Social. My name's invoked a lot about someone who they've reached out to. We've talked, but I would like to just shoot through what I can in my perspective, okay? To give you some context. So I live directly across the street, 130 Watt Street, small building, 6 floors. I've been there 22 years. My apartment runs along Watt Street, 6 large windows facing Maxwell Social. Again, I'm on the 5th floor. So unlike people living in above the event space, we're not impacted from the interior noise. So this is, solely an external neighborhood problem that I'm addressing. Okay, so the impact on us is the exterior noise of patrons gathering outside throughout the night and after events. Decibel level from the groups, I would say numbering 10 to 40, sometimes more, at any one time on the sidewalk. Loud enough to wake us up from a sound sleep with closed windows. I think midnight, by the way, is plenty late to complain about noise. Forget about having an open window. So this is not just loud talking. I'm talking about frequent piercing, shouting, like ruckus. People are having a good time. They're partying on the street, they may not be drinking on the street. They're socializing, and this is happening, okay? It's repeated. The timing can be anywhere from, like I said, 10, 10:30, run at intervals as late as 1:30 a.m. So we can be awoken several times a night. This isn't just being woken up one time. Can I tell you what it's like to be woken several times a night, then trying to parent the next day, or trying to work in the ensuing days or just get through your day. It's rough. Okay. To its credit, Maxwell changed security companies multiple times in response to our noise complaints. They were trying to address these problems. And what's that?
One more minute.
Well, this is impossible.
Do the best you can.
Okay. I'm gonna say that whatever quiet has resulted on intermittent weekends has largely been the result of or dependent on the goodwill and demeanor of the actual attendees and patrons rather than a strategic plan or the skill of any security personnel. So the fact that this issue is yet to be resolved with all of these security firm changes and all our conversations tells me that the nature of the business as a late night event space can't be peaceably accommodated in this location. I think that it was a poor choice of location and structure from the outset. I know that, I don't know about the gentleman here, but I know that David
Is this
seems.
weekly?
Excuse me.
Is it weekly?
Weekly, how often?
Yeah, on the weekends mostly.
Weekends.
Every weekend? Twice a month?
I'm not always there every weekend. So most weekends, many weekends, I
Most
would say,
weekends,
when it's
okay.
an event space, right? So, I know that David is new to hospitality, and running this type of business. So I don't know, honestly, if he's not realizing that this sort of upset, to me, is not the normal course of business. This is a laid back community, Northern Tribeca. We support local businesses, right? People are busy. We're trying to work. We're just trying to have a decent amount of peace. The fact that we are all here now and have been here and going back and forth, and it is causing this much distress should signal to these folks that this is not a good location or a fit for this business in the neighborhood. I think it was just a poor plan from the outset. So the foundation of this very business in this space is poor. So I'm not sure why we're trying so hard to rectify it when the actual structure of the building itself is not fit for it. The neighborhood is not fit for it. If you're going past 11 o'clock and you can't control the patrons on the street and the noise, that is not acceptable. It is not a responsible business and it is not being a good neighbor. And we, as neighbors, you know, I've been there 22 years. We're here to suffer
That's your
the
time.
consequences of the poor business decision.
Thank you.
Can
Right.
I ask a question? There are a couple of other restaurants nearby there.
Yes.
The Greek, I think, the Greek, and then around on Greenwich, I know there's a couple of longtime restaurants. I used to live up there, I don't remember.
I remember you now.
Since moved a little bit now, but, any issues with them?
So here's the difference,
You
right?
know,
These are restaurants
just see how it's
with
compared.
parties of 2 and 4
Right.
and maybe 6 people
Right.
coming out. These are not groups of 20, 40, 60, 100 people who have been drinking and socializing together in a space at the same event, leaving at the same time, waiting for Ubers, not dispersing to go to the subway or a nearby parked car or a taxi on the avenue as in years past from Katsuda Frere or China Blue. The patrons are different. They're loud, they're boisterous, they're going.
So their method of operation really isn't a restaurant.
No. Method of operation is an event space.
Okay,
and, you
well,
know,
that's the key. That's the key to everything.
Let's go around, we have other, Trina, there
Trina,
are many members of the public here.
okay, thank you, but thank you, Trina, and thank you, we appreciate it. Wait, I will call on you, but you live in the building, do you not?
I don't.
Okay.
This is a point relevant to.
So do it, and tell me your name.
So it's my understanding
Okay,
that when the application for your lease was submitted to the building, that you submitted a lease for a private supper club, members only, not a private social club. It was a private supper club. Am I correct?
No, it was a private social club and a supper club would be part of the operations.
Okay, it was my understanding that you specifically stated that it was for a small operation of dining and not for social or for club activity.
Dining was part of that, but we always submitted that we would have a
My
DJ.
other point is if you're now looking to
Time was-
sound, it just shows that you're not looking to retract. You're looking to move forward and continue the same type of operation that was not presented to the building. This is a 5-unit building, as was said, Capsuto Furniture.
We'd like to do everything in our power to make both the residents.
You haven't presented that or proven that you're willing to do that at this point. So how can anyone trust that you would do that?
Well, not sure, right.
That they were operating as a summer.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, that's not true. I don't like the idea of us proposing to spend $300,000 to noise-proof something being thrown back against us now as apparently a sign of our continuing, urge to be belligerent. I think it's unbelievably unfair, and I think it is frankly some of the lack of cooperation we've kind of been experiencing here. Like, as the building itself will attest to, like, it is an incredibly porous building. I can hear the dial tones of Lucy, who lives above us occasionally. So the conversational noise gets up there. The complaint, one of the biggest complaints has been like conversational noise permeating there.
David, stop.
That's not what he said, though.
And that's not what he said.
But I want to ask.
Wait, just a minute. I want us to be very clear here. I'm listening to the complaints of people who don't live in the building,
Right.
who are experiencing your place as community members, trying to live their lives and whatever. When you
His criticism was of what we were doing within the building, though.
David,
David,
I will.
David, please give everybody the chance to not talk over. We allowed you to talk straightforward, and we're trying to be very judicious here. Please understand, where Susan is calling on are people who do not live above you in the building. These are outside of the building. We are moving outside of the conversation of the building. It's
So-
hard because you're online, I get that, but this is not a person who lives in the building.
So also, when this first came, okay, and whatever, I'm looking at your night, 21 stipulation, you were not an event space. That's not what you were considered. You were considered, if I'm reading it correctly, a private members club with food available, okay? You weren't gonna have dancing. Yes, you were gonna have recorded music. There were no cover fees. I have it all in front of
And
me.
no, right.
All right, so it's all changed, okay? There's a piece that you have, you're a little bit disingenuous, okay? So I am, remember, this is, this.
DJs and live music, just to be fair.
Okay, yeah, I see.
understand, but I got it there, Donald, I see it.
I take it back.
I-
I have a question.
I think you just called me disingenuous here. Am I allowed to respond to that?
I'm asking a question. So we live across the street. Are you having the same issue that it's Trina?
I have visited friends in the building who I'm friendly with and have also worked in the building as a business. I don't live across the street, and that's why I'm here representing the problems that have been experienced.
Okay.
And I have seen it myself when I've been.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, tell me your name, please.
Susan Lyle. I live in the just probably behind Trina.
Okay.
And I have, I don't hear the noise the same way, but the characterization of this little area has completely changed since the arrival of Maxwell's. And I understood that it was a supper club also. It now sounds to me like a workaround for an event space. And on their website, it is characterized as an over-the-top clubhouse where we throw outrageous parties. That's literally what it says. And it also says, we are very selective about our people. This isn't some faux douchey process. And it's our group. It's like, it sounds very elitist. It's a private club. When it was a restaurant, as a resident, and I'm 30 years, I would go to Capsuto Prayers, I was welcome. I could go to China Blue, I was welcome, and I'd run into somebody, building or down the street. And now if you want to go visit someone in that building, chances are there'll be someone with a clipboard who will stop you and you have to explain yourself. And there'll be a velvet rope I have seen, lights outside with the, they're like, the paparazzi setup. I mean, it's really not a private supper club or social club. It is an event space, and
Thank you.
that's what it is.
So is there anybody else? I have my crew who I know who live in the building. Is there anybody else outside?
Or to the manager.
Inside the building, yes.
Oh, you're in.
I'm the only one here that lives there directly over.
And she has spoken many times. Is there anybody online, Omesh?
Yes.
Please let them speak. Also, I want to stop this conversation in 15 minutes at the most, because we have a lot of business and I get the evil eye from one of my members and I have to keep moving. So, okay. So people online, Onesh will call on you. Mr. Bennett?
Hi, yes, my name is Bennett Grill and I've lived in the neighborhood for about 14 years. I'm also a member at Maxwell and I live approximately 4 blocks away from the location on Watt Street. I guess I would say first, I think it's important for the community board to understand the breadth of programming that occurs at Maxwell, with the vast majority of it occurring during daytime hours, where speakers are brought in. I submitted a written statement during last month's meeting where I highlighted a former naval captain, a member of the Council of Foreign Relations, hosting a discussion on current affairs. There was a former representative, Chinese trade representative talking about U.S.-Chinese relations. I apologize.
I want to hear that.
Yes.
I don't want to hear the daytime. That's not the issue now. What is the issue is the evening. You want to speak to that and support, you've been there. I understand there are all kinds of things. That's not the issue. That's not the issue for the community. And it's not the issue for the people who live there. The issue is the evening hours, the clubbing, whatever is going on. If you can't speak to that, and you want to support them, that's good, but that's not what we're addressing.
I'm sorry if I can chime. Go on.
I understand. I was attempting to provide a 20-second preface to a broader point, which is I vigorously disagree and dispute the notion that this is an event space. There are events in the evenings, and the substance of my comment was that this is not an event space, and I've seen firsthand being told instructions about hours of operation sensitivity when members are exiting the building during events. I've seen firsthand changes in security and protocols and warnings and eliminations preventing anyone that's created an incident. And so what I think is important to assess is if we have seen a decline in incidents, and if we have seen a decline, because this is a very dangerous circumstance where a collection of a handful of individuals who I understand they don't want this establishment to exist on their street. Well, I'm 4 blocks away and I'm very grateful that something's been added to the community. And so if there's data that can show there's a decline in issues, that's relevant. That is relevant.
Sorry, it's not relevant. And I'm not gonna really put up with it, okay? And your 2 minutes are up, and thank you very much. The end.
When it's not a supper club, what are the method or methods of operation other than a supper club?
This is for David to answer online, please, or your partner in
Go ahead,
the.
David. I'm more than happy to, yeah. We are allowed to, I want to make something clear. I think that, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
What are the methods of operation?
Yeah, I heard you.
Guidelines.
I heard you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, we are allowed to throw private events. I want to make that abundantly clear. And I think the point of, Bennett's chiming in is that context matters. Whether we are throwing a private event all the time or whether or not you are just happen to be experiencing a few nights that, yes, we do want to get under control, but it is not fair to brand us as doing something that we're not doing. these, you know, yes, there are private events. There are also dinner parties. There are 10-person dinner parties. There are panels. There are discussions. We brought in Scott Galloway. Last time I had a whole, you know, binder full of you know, examples of all the different types of events we do. And some of those might be, you know, a private event for Scott Galloway to do his podcast recording. And so, yeah.
David, can you answer the question, how often is it operated as a supper club versus an event space? That is the question that's asked.
I don't know the ratio, but I'd say we're 80%.
How many nights a week do you offer it as a social club where people go for dinner?
I'm sorry, I was a social club where people go for dinner. We do members only dinners on Mondays and Tuesdays, and we often do various types of supper clubs on Fridays and Saturdays that have after parties, correct? And those are the ones that seem to have been causing the issues. Those are members, you know, events that we will partner with, like members to blow up a, you know, their birthday party or something like that. And so there'll be a 60-person sit-down dinner, and there's plenty of photos of that online as well. And then sometimes there will be an after party, and those after parties tend to be.
You answered the question. You operate as a dinner club two nights a week.
No, I said 4 nights a week. I just told you that. Those are dinners. Those
Tuesday, Friday, Saturday.
What you said was Monday and Tuesday, it is open for a dinner club. And Fridays and Saturdays, it is a dinner and after hours party. That is not a regular dinner club, you know, our dinner club.
So first of all, who's defining what's our regular operations here? We define that as our regular. We define a Friday and Saturday night 50-person party, like that starts with dinner, 50 people, as part of our standard operation. That is dinner. It's sit down. It is at 7 p.m. I don't think you get the right to decide us it's not dinner.
It's the after party we're concerned about.
I understand, but I understand that. But I think the point here is there's an effort to paint us as not adhering and being deceiving and disingenuous was the words used before.
Well, I don't know who's disingenuous here, but I'm pissed because I don't think we're getting clear answers. And I rarely feel that way. I am I just am disturbed by all of this. And it's not as if we're so powerful, David. I want you to understand something, but I don't feel you're doing what you should be doing. And I'm not talking about the soundproofing. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the neighborhood and what's happening out there. I mean, what you're going on with the interior is something else. But this is people talking to us as community residents.
And I don't think they take their time at night when they could be home with their kids or watching television to come to meeting after meeting to discuss how you're operating and how they're being disturbed. So obviously there's a problem.
And they know there's a problem. They do.
This is what I opened with.
And we appreciate.
I do appreciate it.
Flat out tell you, I appreciate you coming and honestly owning at least the recent events. David is certainly starting to get under Susan's skin, and I understand why, because he's acting like I never have had any problems, and there is no confusion.
We have problems.
There are problems.
I know.
And the reason we are not asking people from within the building is because that was the first group that came to us.
Understood.
And then it's spreading like mold for people from around the neighborhood coming. I guarantee you run kicking events because they're popular and you have a lot of people. Our issue is there's a certificate of occupancy from the DOB online that says 162 people.
And ours says 240, which is in the space, and we're interested.
I'm unsure how, when we're looking at the one from the Department of
We're
Buildings.
looking at the real.
I'm looking at the one on file that says, please post in your doorway. So, now you understand why we're struggling here. You have other people who have not spoken. I have the timer. Trina, you've had your time. I'm going to ask you to make sure that you don't comment and take a step off the table.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, so somebody online and then somebody in the room, and I've got the timer.
Okay, Barry, you're next.
Where does Barry live?
Barry, please unmute yourself.
Susan,
If he does not unmute himself in 15 seconds, we go to the next
it
person.
should be zero tolerance.
Okay, come back to Barry, let's reset.
Is.
Yeah? Roger Perlmutter?
Hello? It's Barry. Can you hear me?
Yes, Barry, go.
All right. My name is Barry Mallon. I'm an attorney for the co-op at 135 Watts. I think, speaking as an attorney, because you've heard enough from the community here, what seems to be lost is some fundamental legal issues that call for a non-renewal here. This is a type of license here. This is not an ordinary on-premises liquor license. This license does call for a higher standard because it's called a club liquor license, which means that it can only service its club members. It cannot legally operate as a business, as David keeps telling us. It cannot act as an outside public event space, and it cannot meet its license to outside promoters. It cannot bring in outside individuals, organizations to have events at the place. That's not permitted under its license. And every time it does so, it's in violation of its license. So that's one thing.
No. I'm gonna pause you and say, you do not know, and the community board does not know, you would have to go through some legal findings to find out, like any other club. If I was a member of Maxwell Social Club and I sponsored CB1 to come in as a party, then that comes in under the membership sponsorship of the corporate party. And we don't know whether every single one of these corporate events have been sponsored or not. And we are absolutely not the organization to go and find that. When Susan has an idea about how you can get that information, but I am not. So-
And you can, ultimately, you're gonna have to go to the SLA, all right?
We will make this presentation to the SLA, correct? But you can't tell me a single member can sponsor 240 guests to come in.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
On a given night.
Barry,
Yes.
they can.
Yes, they can.
Okay,
I come from the event industry. I can promise you that's how you get to host private events at private clubs.
And we
You
don't have a limit on their private events. I mean, we have the stipulation. It's true, Barry. I happen, full disclosure, I know Barry for my 50-year career in housing. So there. Anyway.
Well, that's one of the other issues, of course, the stipulation itself, which says it must operate as a private members club with no dancing and background music only. Clearly, that's been violated.
Well, no, they say in it, Barry. Wait. I just want you to know, they have recorded music, but they have live music as well on the stipulation. And DJs. I have it here, Donald. Anyway, thank you, Barry. But I think that this is, who else do we have online? Because I want this to end. I mean, it's not gonna end, but I want to have a resolution.
Where's this going?
Pardon me?
Where's this going?
What I want to
And
do,
everybody else,
Joe,
they have to talk on
they have to
No, I
talk.
understand,
But I want a resolution in terms of, the renewal, not their alteration or whatever. That the community has received all of these concerns. I would limit their hours. If I could, I would reduce them. Certainly not on the weekends where they make money, but certainly during the week. They're hacked till 1 a.m. I don't know whether the SLA will allow us, but I think we have to go on record of saying that even though we're advisory and we don't want to put people out of business, this is a contentious license and we have real concerns about it. I wouldn't say I would, we've given them, they've had all these chances. I would reduce their hours is what I would do, Joel.
But Susan,
Hold on, Joel, let's get.
I
through
want
the
to,
public.
you asked, and then we'll talk about it. I want to do the other.
I think there also has to be street and curb management.
I do. Absolutely. Even if I left, if we left the hours.
That's where I was going.
Okay.
What else you got? Roger.
Yeah, I've spoken to this committee before. I'm a resident of the building, 135 Watt Street. And there's no point in my speaking at length here again, just to say that as was
Yep.
acknowledged, there was another event that took place just 3 weeks ago, even less than that, that has the same kind of characteristics, an enormous amount of noise, people standing outside drinking on the Washington Street side. And the fact that we're having these kinds of events take place despite a lot of community concern, I think demonstrates the problem here, which is that even though David says that he and Kyle have been working hard to try and control these things, they just can't. And it's very problematic for the neighborhood. I'll just stop there.
My committee's gonna get there. So, thank you, and I appreciate it, but I gotta move on. I've got two more. How many more? Just Joan.
Unless somebody else in the.
The gentleman in the jacket needed to speak, and the gentleman with the mask.
He spoke. The gentleman with the mask.
Okay.
He's
The-
done.
The gentleman with the jacket will let you go next.
So, I mean, I think that everything's been substantially said at this point, but the city. Sorry, sorry, my name is Jonathan Bernstein. I'm here on behalf of, three of the shareholders of the cooperative, and I also manage the building. So the really salient point that we keep going back to, and I have a little handout, is that, the building is, it's a social club.
Please hand.
The operation is a social club, but it is also
Make sure that the operator gets a copy as well.
being operated as an event space, and I have a list on the last page. These are, in the year and a half that they've been operating, 34 corporate events. And you know, look, Tommy, I just on the last page, I mean, I understand said that a member can sponsor an event, although I'm sure Tommy Hilfiger is not actually a member of the club. But a year and a half they've been operating, that's 18 months, and this isn't even a comprehensive list. You can say that it's not being used as an event space all day long. This is straight off of social media, and this is just a few. And there's one other point that I want to make, which is if you go back to the May 2021 meeting, where the initial presentation was made, and frankly, this was the same presentation that was made to the co-op. But the representation was, and this is from David, we're building the space to fit group sizes of 10 to 20, not group sizes of 150. So the fact that there is security at all, or a step and repeat, or lights, or velvet ropes, this is not what any of us signed up for.
Thank you.
Jonathan, and I particularly thank you for your brevity. Okay, Joan. Joan is the last person. Joan has spoken quite a bit.
And Joan, I don't need you to read the whole statement. You can submit it, but talk very salient points.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay, please? Can you unmute? Joan?
Hey, 2 minutes. I have documented clearly that Maxwell's has violated at least 8 stipulations of its liquor license, and they continue to do so. So that's the only thing that should matter from the point of view of your committee. What can you do about it? You can renew the license with additional stipulations, as right now you're considering, but Maxwell's breaks stipulations with impunity, so it is unlikely that they would abide by new ones. Or you can vote against renewal. We know that the SLA would be unlikely to follow this recommendation, but at least CB1 would go on record. If there is a future notice of pleading, which would be SLA's next step, since they've already issued the warning letter, a CB1 recommendation for non-renewal might well influence the hearing outcome. I would ask that you meet with the SLA commissioner. If the SLA renews the license, I would ask that they not extend the license to the basement, which I guess will be maybe submitted next month, that they not increase occupancy, they not make any existing stipulations more lenient, and I would ask that they severely curtail the opening hours to 9 p.m. at the very latest every day of the week, and that they shut down the outdoor space. To be clear, I want the community board to vote to rescind the license, period, but these additional steps are in the event that the SLA does not follow the recommendation. Finally, beware, do not get distracted by David's diversion tactics. He is not straightforward and he does not tell the truth. Keep a razor sharp focus on the situation because the situation is very straightforward. This is a business that is breaking the rules.
John, your
Hasn't
time is
followed-
up.
Since it hasn't
John, your
followed
time
the rules,
Time is up,
it does not
John.
have a liquor license.
Okay,
John, thank you.
all right,
And let's, no casting aspersions on anybody.
correct.
People are trying to run a business, people are trying to live a life. It's not mixing well, but
Okay, that's, all. But,
we're not here to kill anybody.
no,
This is not rocket
Mark,
science.
go to it. And then,
Okay. There's one thing, a couple things I want to clear this up. So as per the liquor license, what is the main entrance of the of the club, whatever you call it, restaurant?
I believe it's 135 watts.
So why are you always using Washington Street? Are you gonna make an amendment to the license to change the main entrance?
That's not part of the current plans, but we're using it well, frankly, we were mostly not using it because Lucy's space was above that and we got directed not to. Sometimes we do use it to allow people to go in or out, but for the most part, we don't use it.
It's real, where you're letting people into is really a French door. It's not an entrance.
That's correct.
Right, so this is a problem. You should note this in the resolution. All right, now, walk me through this,
So
okay?
Mark, the note for the resolution is entrance on
Yeah,
135.
as per the liquor license, the entrance to 135, and they're
Wait, wait,
using
wait,
a French door on I mean, they're saying here it's 151 Washington Street. 151 Washington Street is an entrance to,
451.
I mean, 451 is an entrance to the building. They're using the French door next to the entrance. It's a French door where the guy stands out there with a clipboard. So,
The entrance was always on once. The entrance was on once.
right, but it's not being used.
No, that's mostly it's been used. It's not-
Every time I walk by that.
mostly being used, but it's something else
Yeah.
that's being used.
Okay.
So, it's like.
It's like
Half a dozen,
99.5%.
one-sixth of another, I don't know.
Not every time I walk by there.
Just to be clear, the floor plan on file with the authority shows two entrances. One on Watts, this is Washington.
Correct.
And one on Washington, so.
But what
The
what they're
one on the
using is the
liquor
French doors that open up to the loading dock, not the actual. That's not an entrance, that's
So
the
this-
French door open up
This
to the
is the
loading
main
dock.
entrance, which we use the
Okay.
predominant amount of time. This is what you're
Mark,
talking
keep
about.
going.
That's the problem.
Just to be clear, both entrances are on the plan on file with the SLA.
But not on the liquor.
But not the liquor
I don't
license.
understand
The
what that
liquor
means.
license has the entrance at
No,
135.
no. The address doesn't have to be the entrance. The entrance is shown on the floor plans on file. The entrance, the address on the license is typically the address in the lease, which could be in the address of the building. We have that from time to time. Sometimes the entrance could be on the side street, but for whatever
But
reason,
that French door is
The
not an
landlord-
address. The address is the door, is the entrance next to it.
No, it
the
is an
address.
address, is it not?
It is, it's 453.
It's in a,
Three,
yeah.
Donald.
yeah, but not, but the French door is not the
Floor
actual
plans
address
on
entrance.
file. Well, I just want to be clear. It's very simple.
Can you
The
pass
floor-
that floor plan this way?
The floor plans that were filed with and approved by the SLA show two entrances on Watts and Washington. That's what we filed.
But not the French door, it's not the entrance.
That's what it shows.
Does using the French door make it louder or more inconvenient for the neighborhood?
Well, it opens up right into the, everything that's going on in there.
All right,
So walk me through this. You have a supper club, okay? You have tables set up, people are eating dinner. Okay,
You can see it right.
then when you have the event, you take the tables away. But in these photos, and when I walk by, it is packed and I don't see any tables. So it goes from a dinner party to almost basically a nightclub atmosphere.
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
All right.
And that's not me prevaricating, that's literally what it is.
So this is the key. They are changing their method of operation, what they're not authorized to do.
Not yet.
not yet.
We're gonna do method of
Yeah.
operation. We will note on the renewal that they are seeking a method of
But
operation.
it's not yet.
But we
Next
will
month.
require them
Right.
to not renew
But-
the license.
But they're already in
with the-
violation.
But this is the key. They're in violation of their method of operation, because they're using a method of operation they're not authorized to use, which should be the key to not renewing their license, and should be, and their request for next month should be denied based on this bad behavior.
Well, that's something.
That's something that.
It's something else, but that's the key to not denying this renewal, is that they're violating their agreement. The method of operation is turns in, that's, as you just told me, they take the tables away and turn it into a nightclub. They're photos. Every neighbor's walked by. It's packed like sardines in there. It's loud. It's a nightclub. And it's not supposed to be a nightclub. It's supposed to be a restaurant, supper club, whatever, that kind of method of operation. So,
But there's no limit on the amount of private events they can do.
but the private event, turns in, when a private event turns into a method of operation that's not authorized. I mean, they take the tables away, they have a book sign.
No dancing.
All right, it's different, right?
No
right.
dancing.
So, all right, but they have a method of operation where it's packed, loud, dancing, this, that kind of thing, then they're in violation. And that's the key to not allow, to denying the renewal.
No.
But,
Whether the SLA does what they do is
but
what it
if we
is.
don't put in a renewal, that in lieu of not renewing their license, we are requesting the security that Joel is talking about, the various things that we want them to do, I would allow the renewal. You don't have to vote for it, but I would, I'm always, if we don't put down what we want, then the SLA does whatever the hell it wants, and they'll go up there and carry on, and where will we be?
But the structure of their after parties, cannot be mitigated,
Well, I think that.
no matter what they do.
Wait,
It can be. It can be.
listen, what
It can be.
I don't think so.
I think that,
This is a nightclub.
like Joel said, we need to require that they have outdoor security, period. That manages the people
And the-
coming and going, because they have an outdoor patio. They have an outdoor patio, they have to manage it.
Outdoor security. I thought you had outdoor.
Okay, yeah, well,
We have someone who's at the door.
One
and then-
person,
With a
and then-
clipboard.
With a
But-
clipboard.
but he's not breaking up the people who are outside. And if he's at the door on Watts, he's not at the door on Washington where they have an outdoor patio. So at the point you have two people for security, one at each door.
We do. We
And
currently
you
do.
must have somebody who will break up the sidewalks and
Correct.
not allow people.
Right.
Because the
that's
problem
not
is,
two people.
your outdoor patio, the entry that you showed, you just handed me this floor plan. That is an entrance and exit to the outdoor patio into the space. It's not the main entrance and exit.
So there's a door next to that one as well.
Yeah, but they
But-
go into the restaurant.
But what, your main entrance and exit that's done by your architect is on Watts, right? On everything that's by your existing patio, it's an entry from the patio end.
Right, that's what I said.
It's not the main entrance and
There's
exit according to.
there's two doors next to each other. There's one, the patio door, which goes to the balcony. Next to that door, there's,
Okay,
Understand what we're saying. The exterior is not managed to the level that has provided you community benefit
I
in
agree.
terms of support,
This is what
no
I,
matter what is said.
this
So
is what I
you
started with, that
at least people
we,
beyond your, hey, John, it's great to see you. Let me check.
on your, checking my name.
Two people, because it's the people, wait, let us, because this comes up all the time. And you're right, part of it is the smoking that's maybe wafted out to the tenants that live above. But it's also, as people leave your space and they start to wander down the street, they are making noise. Now, I know you can't completely control them.
yeah.
But if you have people outside the door that say, shh, there are people asleep,
Yeah.
please keep it down.
If you are,
It helps.
need a vehicle, if you're waiting for an Uber, please wait inside. And so one of the things that I'd love to see mandated is that you have a waiting area on the inside for people.
Yeah, so if I can just address some of those points. So we are interested in working with the community. This is something that I've been out there many times at 1 a.m. saying, guys, would you keep it down? We have neighbors, please leave, please leave. We've started our leaving protocol earlier from 12:30. And frankly, it hasn't always been implemented. And so I'm on the phone with David at midnight to our person who's saying there's been an incident, someone's yelling outside. And we're saying, why wasn't this done? Why wasn't this done? So it's a little bit of a management issue, okay?
Now, how long has this protocol been in place?
Which one specifically?
The 12:30.
So that's been about 2 months, 3 months.
Great, so then you wouldn't mind on your renewal to having your liquor license end at 12:30.
Well, the point is, I understand what you're saying. We close the bar at 12:30 anyway, roughly.
But
No,
it's not helping.
no.
It's not helping. Like, we need you to close the bar at midnight and have everybody gone from the premises at 12:30. Because what happens is you've got people who are now leaving the premises. If the party ends at 1, the bar closes at 1, they're walking out the door sometime between 1 and 2, right? As they're finishing their drinks, they're hanging out.
They're completely out at 1. And where we really messed up in the past is when we're in the last 5 minutes, okay, guys, everyone out, boom, they're all on the street at once. So we're staggering it. And when we've done a better job is when it's really staggered. The point I made at the start is it's not perfect. And so that's why we're reducing the frequencies of
Okay.
the size.
I'm gonna cut this. All right, Mariama, talk.
I think I'm with Mark on this. It sounds like we're saying effectively, you're not doing the right thing, but we're gonna continue to enable you to not do the right thing just for less hours. And then next month, when you apply to do the right thing, hopefully they'll approve it, even though you've already not been doing the right thing.
I don't
And so
think
I don't
so.
think I wanna be part of that.
Board bad behavior.
I'm looking and saying, we know there's a problem.
Yeah.
Why aren't we suggesting, here's what we want from the operator. We want at least 3 exterior people, 1 per door plus a roving person until the place is closed.
And outside.
Period.
And I wanna change the hours.
But that doesn't say cease immediately from operating as a club because you don't have a license to do that right now.
But
And
we're
wait
gonna
until
put-
at least
We're
next
gonna
month
put
when
that
you
in
do.
here.
We're gonna put it in.
Okay.
We're gonna put that in here.
Okay? We're gonna put it in, all right?
That they're violating the method of operation.
Operation, okay? That we want them to close at 12
I think they should, midnight.
midnight, okay? Not 1, midnight.
I mean, it's a residential neighborhood.
And it's a residential neighborhood, and that we want the security, and we want to see, and we're going to give them, what else?
And
And
they're,
the residents were there longer than they were. And it's not, it is.
and so, I mean, I think that what we can do is, we can also be, we can ask for them to come back in 6 months.
Well, somebody's gotta come back next month first, right? Because they're.
No, ignore the method of operation
Okay.
change. We can go to the SLA and say, we would like this put in place. We would like this plan to happen. We'd like them to be fully compliant with what they said, which includes the no dancing, the not like, clubhouse, whatever. We would like them, because they've been violating the method of operation. There is in our stipulation, we will pull up the fact that there are questions in terms of what the DOB says their occupancy is and what they're telling us the occupancy. And we'll list everything that's there, saying for the next year, 6 months
6 months.
minimum.
Let's do, and that I would suggest that they don't come next month with an alteration, that they wait 6 months from December is May, I guess, or June,
May or
whatever,
June.
May or June, and they come back then, and we see how they have behaved.
Which will then also give them the opportunity of 6 months to work with the building. If the building and
Well, that's
the
what I was gonna
operator
say.
come to a conclusion and they get soundproofing, this could be a very different conversation for a method of operation. But coming in January is gonna do nothing but like every other member of the community, back up to come back in
And-
on another
and-
cold and
and
crappy
put-
night.
And put us in a terrible position as well as you. Don't do it. That's what we're suggesting. Okay?
Build good community
All right.
relations.
So that would, Joe, you want to say something, and then I need someone to call the question on
Yes,
this.
you're willing to spend $300,000,
Yes.
but you're not willing to maybe go outside your comfort zone because you yelling at somebody at 12 o'clock, you calling somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning is so unprofessional. You really need to get in front of somebody that's going to give you professional, detailed security, how you manage this outside. Because obviously, you guys ain't doing it. And it's not working. So take a hint what we're telling you tonight and go seek advice at a professional security company, how I can make this better. If you're willing to spend over $250,000 on a sound system, go out and spend $10,000 and get a consultant
I wish it was that easy.
and do it.
The security guard that was great for a while left. The company's the same, but it's a different person. And we trained them up.
And so I have another question. If you're willing to spend $300,000 on the soundproof,
Yes.
why aren't you willing to actually negotiate?
listen.
All right, sorry, actually willing to negotiate to break the lease and go someplace else?
Well-
That would be better
Well,
suited to this.
don't go there.
No, I would like to understand.
So
You know, they didn't want it.
there's a lot of build out.
Everybody, I want to do this. Will you agree, can somebody, we're gonna do this resolution, will somebody second it?
Yeah.
Call it and go, and can we have a vote and get through this and?
So everything that you and Tammy just said
Yeah,
a few minutes ago.
absolutely, it
All right,
will
call
be in
question.
it.
Second. Here's our summary. As per the license, the entrance should be 135 watts. They are using a second entrance at 451 Washington, 453 Washington, near the patio. We have issues so we have requested that they have more than 2 people exterior, assigned to the exterior to ensure that people are not smoking underneath the residential windows and people are not gathering and screaming every night.
How many people?
There is a violation for the method of operation based on what we know. The stipulation says no dancing. We have the proof that was supplied, but everything about dance parties and everything else that are here that we will put up there, that they're in temporary violation, that,
Documented by residents.
documented. We have questions on the issues of occupancy because according to what we have on file for DOB, it says 162. You mentioned 200, and then 240. So there is a large disparity at which needs to be resolved, which we're not doing tonight.
Just say it includes their people also.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. If you can get that to us by the board meeting, that would be great, which is the 19th. And we're looking
Sorry,
to.
get what? Get what to?
You claim,
Oh,
there are
the
two
PA.
things. You've claimed parties of up to 240 people between David and Kyle. And then as the attorney, you've said you have documentation that said 200. When we said we have documentation that says
The
162.
200 is incorrect. It's a
200
misnomer.
was a misreading of the CMO.
Okay, so either way, you need to send us.
We'll
what
get you the
think you want.
PA that David is referring to.
It's not for me to negotiate with DOB. You guys got to figure out that whole thing, right? We are requesting, due to all of the stuff that we've got going on, the numerous complaints and everything else that we will share with SLA, and I'm sure that they'll follow you up to the SLA for a public hearing, that you end at midnight, period. That the license is now midnight,
That's what we're gonna submit.
indoor,
And
9
we will
a.m.
go up to SLA if they're going up, but so far, this is what we're going to do around.
for
here.
6 months.
All right, 6 months.
We'll leave your outdoor as it is, which is till 10, Monday through Thursday. You have no outdoor on Sunday, which we would remind you that there's no outdoor on Sunday. Because we have a funny feeling that you do outdoors on Sundays. But yeah,
You mentioned
Okay.
numerous complaints
No.
from the residents and their attendance, at the meetings.
well, and we will also note that when the community first reached out, we've done everything that we can to encourage the operator to go through the mend process with New York City. We've given everybody ample 3 months worth of opportunities to come and talk to us and find resolution. Not finding a final resolution,
This is what we
this is
come
what
to.
we have come
This
to.
Can we
is what
say something like this also, this is the feeling I'm getting. Although we're approving this, the community board has trepidation reservations about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's say something.
I just have a quick question. If you're gonna ask them to increase security, can we ask them that also is coordinated with the building? Because these are also residential entrances. And speaking on behalf of the building, I think that a lot of the residents would be very uncomfortable
Well,
with
we
Maxwell
can ask-
controlling the entrance.
Yeah, we can say
To the building.
increase security with, acknowledging, we'll figure it out, but yes.
Thank you.
They're supposed to be handling
Put
their
a
own
number
people
on that
as
increased
they.
security, they could just put like one, that's.
No, we're asking for more, Gene.
We're asking a minimum of 3, one
Okay.
for each entrance and one to patrol as people are
That's
leaving.
4
Because what
feet.
happens is the security is the bouncer.
Okay, so. Call the question?
Call the question.
question.
Does the
Second.
applicant willing to abide by these agreements?
I don't think we can abide by all of them, but we can't give you an answer tonight. I think probably some we can.
Okay, so you'll let,
Yes.
but we're gonna do what
Yeah,
we're
you're
gonna
gonna
do.
do, I understand.
Okay,
I understand.
so call the question, all in favor? Mark? Anyway, he's gonna abstain. We're gonna say no.
Tony again.
What
Okay.
about online?
Anybody online?
You need a clear cut.
Yeah, me. That's all right, Amaruso. That's why I love you. We do love you. You're not.
I'm sorry, Karen, what's your vote? I didn't hear you.
Oh, I said in favor.
Okay, so for Kyle,
Yes.
would you please get to us before the 19th, which is our full board meeting? You believe in a box?
Absolutely.
I appreciate the attorney. I'm talking to the operator because you're not there at midnight. He's there at midnight.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it,
And
but
Kyle, I want to say thank you for coming and showing up. I do appreciate it.
Yes.
And you withstood us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
do me a
Good
favor,
luck.
Kyle. In whatever documentation you're sending us, you know that we are asking you to close your bars at midnight and have everybody out of the buildings by 1, right? Out of the premises by 1. That is what our resolution.
That's what our, whether you.
What,
1. But you can get them out by 1, but close the bar.
close the
That's
bars,
Thursday.
right?
We're being very reasonable, Don.
For 6
I mean,
months.
For 6
For
months.
6 months,
That's
and then we would like to have, right? If
We
you
want
why
to see
don't
what
we-
the business that. So come
Yeah,
back.
if you can agree to that, that would be wonderful. If you can't, I'd still like some type of a response because we will end up upstate for SLA anyway. But to know that we're trying to work with you, and I appreciate the partnership of coming, of listening to the community.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, you said you would like, so which meeting?
No, you're
Okay.
fine.
Just
That's fine.
send the response and we.
Thank you very much.
No, what, the 18th, yeah.
Thank
What?
you.
Donald, if it's to be there at midnight, every night when there are noise issues, absolutely.
We're saying 1
But
o'clock,
that's
we're
what
gonna
we're-
get about 1 o'clock every day.
We gave,
Hold on.
they have 1 o'clock every day.
They have 1 AM now.
They have 1 AM now, and now SLA is not gonna change it. We're asking them to get everybody out by 1, and the bar closes at midnight.
The bar will be closed at midnight, which means they will no longer serve
Listen,
drinks,
Right
We'll
now,
see.
their bar can close at 1 o'clock in the morning.
which means they're not out until 2.
One AM license means that everybody has to be out by.
Well, it's not
On the
happening.
sidewalk.
We're not helping. Okay, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Alright.
78 Leonard.
Keep the community board.
Well,
Thank you. That was
Right,
lovely.
thank you.
I'm hoping to be out.
Don't be smart.
Get out. Okay.
78 Leonard, who's here?
Oh, poor thing. Come
Come
on.
sit at the table and introduce yourself. And just think of it this way, you guys, everybody who's still here, we're a little tired. We might be a lot nicer. So there you go.
Different.
The team from the Odeon, can I ask you a question over here?
Yes, and tell them,
What happened to my?
as they're being picked.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have,
Are you considering the rest of the properties on the list so we know?
well, I'm doing them by, it's not too many. I'm doing Tribeca, the financial district, and then we have outdoor seating.
We'll be going in this order, 78 Leonard, can we show them the crosstalk? Thank you. We're going, 78 Leonard, 285 West Broadway, then 59 Nassau, and then we will go to outdoor seating.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any plans for us, or you submitted everything?
I believe we submitted everything, we're probably missing the signatures, right, but,
I haven't seen
yeah, the signature.
You have a packet?
I don't have a paper on meeting, so I do not have a paper. Have the, application we submitted for your Manhattan Community Board of One questionnaire?
This.
That's what I have, yeah. That's pretty much.
That's what you have.
Yes, correct.
Onesh is gonna go through it.
Okay, so we have about 4 residential buildings.
Tammy, we can hear you.
Can we take it outside?
Sorry.
Okay, keep going.
Yes, 4 residential buildings across the street, 6 units.
Within the property.
Public assembly, it's a large venue. To ADA compliant, 60 seats. Engagement tables, bar 28 for the bar. Okay.
So they have 88.
That's because they have one bar and two service bars, so the bar total is 28.
Do you have an ADA compliant bathroom?
I think there are two, yeah.
Okay,
two.
fine, perfect.
Okay, hours.
Your hours.
Hours of operation, Monday, Thursday, 9 AM to 11 PM, Friday and Saturday, 9 AM to 2 AM, and Sundays, 9 AM to 10 PM.
Are you operating now?
No.
This is a brand new venue.
So this was a,
Yeah.
other old restaurant. So we are just we have taken over and we are refinishing it and started.
What was the old restaurant?
Goa.
What was it?
I don't remember.
I do remember Goa, because I like Indian food. I was there.
You're welcome to come there.
So I want you to know that, we're loath for new, venues who haven't proven themselves to give you till 2 AM, since their units above. We'll give you till 1.
Okay.
And you can come back, and if there are no complaints and everybody's thrilled with you, you can come back within a year.
Yes.
You will be delighted.
The
So
place
that's
is-
one thing. The other service is okay, the hours, Sunday and everything else, but Friday and Saturday till 1 AM.
Okay.
What delivery?
Are you gonna have outgoing deliveries?
Again, at this point, we have no plan,
Okay.
but even if we use in future, it will be a DoorDash or something. We will not do our own.
And receiving goods and services, hours, you have that?
Before 3.
Yeah.
Okay,
Before
3
3.
PM.
okay, great.
Okay, and garbage collection?
Before 3 as well.
But we also ask if there are other businesses on the block and you can make contact with them and see what carder they're using carting service. If you could use the same carting service, great, and they come at one time, they don't come and then 3 hours later somebody else comes.
Yeah.
So we'd appreciate that.
So, no, it's a very good point. So we have taken list of old vendors who the previous restaurant was using. So we are going to continue with that.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank
And
you.
Right.
there's also soundproof, I want to mention that.
Yeah, well, I see the soundproofing, I see live music. Just remember, you say background music, but you say you would put, live and you put, what else am I missing? I
Recorded
can't see.
DJ.
And
And
DJ.
DJ. That's,
What's the live music?
live music probably like a 2-piece ensemble, you know.
Is it like jazz or
Yeah,
is
like
it,
jazz,
or is it
right?
rock and roll?
No, we will not do a big party there, on the basement. Just, sometime get request any any instrument playing and that kind of a thing.
Okay,
We will not do a
so
big party.
I have a different, question, just so you understand, background music means we don't hear it outside. And
Yes.
their neighbors don't hear it after you've soundproofed.
That's correct.
That's, and number 2, do you expect to have big parties or close the restaurant and have an event?
Not very often.
Well, that's the question, sweetheart. Well,
If you want to do it at all, you gotta let us know.
Just heard what happened
Yes,
here. So-
we are open for that. We will not do more than a month, once in a month.
what type of events? A
So like-
wedding, a big party, what?
Holiday party.
So let's say you come and you ask, hey, I want to reserve for my guest and do a private party. So we will be open for that. But we are not going to do it like every week, every day or something like
What's your max?
the capacity.
Yeah, 168, I believe.
They're a large venue, they
Yeah.
can fill that out.
They have 6,000 square feet.
I know, I saw.
Pretty-
So we're going to allow you 12 events during the year.
Yes.
That could be one a month, or as my friend over here will tell you, on a holiday month, it could be 2,
I'm learning.
but no more than 12, all right?
Yes.
Because you might want to sell for holiday parties.
Yes.
So.
Okay? Is there anything else I'm missing? They told us about garbage collection, blah, 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 pickup, they, blah, blah, blah.
Will the DJs be only at this events?
Only for the events, not on a regular basis.
And you have just no outdoor dining.
No outdoor dining.
No, right bed.
The windows that open at the front?
We get air conditioning.
Well, it will be to remain closed.
Okay.
Keep the doors shut down.
Okay.
Did you hear that? The windows at the front will remain closed.
Thank you. All right, can we move on? All the questions,
Seconded.
all in favor?
Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck.
Neighborhood.
Thank
What's the
you so
name?
much.
What's
The name is,
Farsi.
Farsi.
FARZI.
That's the
FARZI. Okay, great.
Slip on.
Guys.
Okay,
Okay, next one.
all right, we'll go.
St. Helier. Are you here? Oh, good. Bring me your window.
Thank God.
Is that shade gonna make it?
No, we need a new shade. We'll get it down. It's so up.
Shade looks like it's on its last leg.
Oops, careful, relax.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Until me, huh?
You got one? Tammy and I. Okay, thank you.
Who needs? This one?
Thank you.
Everybody get it? Yep. Zach, you want one?
So you're allowed.
Extra one?
Yes, and yes, ma'am.
Pardon me?
Oh, Jeff. Yes, and I'm changed up my floor plan.
Okay.
Been operating, been renewed.
How long have you been operating? Because I saw your hours, so you've been.
6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
And we have had no complaints so far that we know.
Well, that's not true.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, let me get it through him and then we'll go. So you're going to, you're playing live music. What kind of live music, sir? Tell me your name, please.
Tom
Tom.
Last name, Tom?
Martinetti.
Martinetti, thank you.
Yes.
So, can you tell us what the basic changes, why?
So, I think to jump in ahead of, I assume my neighbor, we're building all interior, walkways around the entire inside. Basically going to build a box within the place, with no doors, open up directly onto the sidewalk at any time, with tons of indoor space. We want to obviously cut down on any issues. I imagine my neighbors here are going to tell me about ahead of time, but I don't want what just happened the last hour and a half. And I want to preempt that, and we're going to spend upwards of $1 million doing this. But the reason I'm doing this is because it's a business, and what aggravates me is any issues I have in my business, and I want to preempt any issues by just go ahead and just doing this now. And, yep,
So you're a large venue.
yes, we are.
You have been operating within these hours for
Yep.
6 years.
Yes.
I'm not gonna take them away from you, I don't
I
think.
appreciate that.
It depends unless you're talking private events and
Well, for private events.
dance club.
Are you a dance club?
We're actually allowed to have dancing at one of our stipulations that we signed 6 years ago.
I understand, but
Well, I'm just, laying it out.
do you operate currently as a nightclub is what
More of
I'm
a lounge, but yes.
Miriam, you're good at this.
I'm sorry, what's Broadway between which two streets?
Between, it's on the corner of Canal and West Broadway.
Right. Is this the place that we we had a lot of complaints from the neighbors that there were the cars outside and on the roof?
There they are.
Ah, we know who you are. Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't the name something else?
This is 6 years ago. Come on, Joel. And it's Canal and Broadway. I mean, I know
West
they're
Broadway. West
there.
Broadway.
West Broadway. So it's got people, but yeah, we did give them that. I mean, I wasn't, what can I tell you? We'll get to you, I promise.
You had several floors, right?
It's the first one in basement.
It was what, first floor? and
It's
basement?
basements where kitchen prep is and bathrooms. Have changed.
You have an ADA bathroom?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I thought so. So I'm confused about your box.
Yes.
I don't understand it. And I'm pretty good about space. So explain it to me,
Yes.
please.
So basically, right now, all of our doors open up directly onto three different doors open up right on the sidewalk. What we're doing here is we're creating interior hallways that basically we're creating, all the seating will be inside a room, inside our place, that you can access, so there'll be no direct doors between outside
Right.
and interior seating section. I'll be waiting room, waiting areas. And so I imagine that's gonna cut down a lot. And obviously, the space has been operating like this for 30 years or so, but we actually, it has a lot of big windows in front, so we're gonna basically build walls in front of those windows.
Is this the waiting area?
There's we sell them. So, first, but the other thing. Okay, so if you're a customer. Okay, now on, you're entering on West Broadway. So right now,
Right now, you have entrance on Canal.
right now, we can move the entrance here to West Broadway. Okay, so it's gonna bring any, I can imagine this is Elizabeth. I texted you and called you a couple times because I wanted to go over this ahead of time with you. But so from now on, we'll enter right here on West Broadway into this closed space, code check, entrance here into the main room. Right here, we'll cut this off completely. This will be the emergency exit. Again, huge area that we all be cut off in this evening.
So I have a original question before I call on all of them. We gave you all of this. You were a bar lounge with food service.
Yes, ma'am.
You were not a nightclub.
Correct, and this is still gonna be a lounge with a DJ.
Well,
It's a hard.
in 2018, you said that any music that you had would be background.
Actually, on the form in 2018 was different than the form here now. I checked background, and then I checked, I have it in front of me. That's actually different, and I checked other, and I said entertainment. But that being said, I have it.
Entertainment does not mean, when we're talking about the volume of music,
Entertainment is the exactly what we're talking about. However, this is going to cut down dramatically on any music, any sound that comes out from the place.
But I wonder what they have to say.
We're gonna
There's a
hear it,
reason
but
why.
we're giving him his chance.
So, yes,
Why did you decide to do this?
because I heard Elizabeth 3 months ago at this meeting say something, and I was going to sell the place, but I was like, you know what? I might as well fix the problem. I'm gonna spend $1 million fixing the problem. This is the problem. It should be fixed. I'm doing this ahead of time, Elizabeth. I called you a couple times this week. I texted you. I would have loved to have sat down with you beforehand.
Well, do you mean you're gonna spend $1 million and then sell the place? Or you're
No,
gonna
no.
spend $1 million to keep the place?
I'm operating this place.
Okay.
This is gonna solve the sound issue that Elizabeth has. Now, again, we're on a very busy corner, and also on the same corner, you have the Soho Grand Hotel that also emits a fair amount of sound. Now, I realize, I say this, that I realize that nobody in this room likes what I do for a living. I realize, I realize that New York City acknowledges they need some type of nightlife, but nobody wants it next to them.
Well, that's.
That's very true. So,
are you adding a dance floor?
so this is gonna be the size.
No, but are people dancing in it?
People allowed, I have dancing.
Okay. I don't know that dancing matters. Though. It's the
No,
noise.
certainly not dancing.
Nobody wants
Well, it's a better operation. than-
Right, nobody wants the noise, yeah.
Remember, dancing does a whole other.
Alteration, I'm changing the pulpit. So every time I
What's
change,
what's the alteration on your license for?
what do you mean alteration?
What are you altering on the license? What
Nothing,
are you-
floor plan. Floor plan is the only thing I'm changing.
But you're.
But you don't have dancing, you're
Yes, I know, I do
And
have
the
dancing.
entrance.
I do have dancing.
but not in your.
Nope. No,
Will not
yep,
promote dancing.
nope. See, that was crossed off, and then we actually went back and got our liquor license. Our liquor license says dancing. It says no promotion of dancing. It was acknowledged at the time, and we came back to you, and you guys acknowledged other times our liquor license that we have dancing.
Jefferson.
So where's the news that Jeff was used?
Yeah.
And you.
I was on the committee.
Would you please?
Yep, that's not a problem at all.
Was that in 2019?
2018,
18,
2018, maybe 2017.
But I was on the
Sorry.
committee and I recall this being an issue because of outside, not inside.
Well, we have no outside seating.
No.
Outside,
That-
the
that
noise.
people-
Outside.
Noise when people left your
At the-
venue,
at the
growing
time-
up, getting
Yeah,
taxis,
that's-
yes.
That, I think is a smaller issue than the noise itself, of music, and that's what I want to solve. Percent.
So is that the problem they have?
Security
Yes,
outside?
with tons of security, they're licensed, they're trained, the security is not an issue.
For you,
For
okay.
me, but I don't see that, I've been operating New York City for over 2
No,
decades.
wait,
I don't see security being the issue. I see sound and the age of the space being an issue. And when I talk about age, I mean,
What other type of entertainment are you talking about?
we just have DJ, but
So there's no live music? Is that what you're
well,
saying?
I mean, in
DJ only?
theory, DJ is live music, but we actually have.
No band.
We have right to have band, either we don't, we're not going to.
It's,
That's not my,
the reason why I'm asking is you put live music, rock bands, acoustic, jazz, et cetera, but didn't detail it. It says give details and there are no details.
The bar,
that was-
bar playing live music.
yeah, I mean, that was, you know, the forms changed in the last.
It has
So
changed.
it's very
but
tough
it's not about
to
it.
exactly apples to apples.
So, well, but give me an apple. So do you have live music? Yeah, thank you.
No, we're not playing on it now.
Okay, so no live music.
So they need,
Besides the DJ.
you need the one line,
Yeah, that works.
initially.
And Mark, I have a question. I remember.
Well, that's the question.
So the question is.
No, but hold on a second, if I can.
You can answer my question about entertainment though, because you have DJ checked, you have live music checked, and then you have entertainment checked.
No,
So-
no, when you say entertainment, do you mean the level of music, or do you mean other things that you would have in place that?
I'm
like,
not
some-
asking you,
some
it's your
people
house.
say- No, what I'm saying is that we don't have any other entertainment than the DJ. There is no,
So there should be no.
So it should not be checked off, Tom.
depending on, this is why I originally checked it, because it said, there's some community boards, in my experience, and this one at the time, it was unclear how to check entertainment level music. So I checked I checked entertainment, because it said, yeah, it's not quite as clear as it is these days, but back then, it was, I thought that's where you put, I think it actually said, music volume. I said entertainment, but the forms now changed.
Okay, so no entertainment.
There's no entertainment other than.
DJ.
There's a questionnaire here where it says description of establishment, semicolon. You type lounge/bar playing live music. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So live music,
That
you
means
just
live
said,
musician.
you just said no
That
live
means,
music.
that means
No,
live music.
okay, so at the time, and I operated,
Now, yeah, now, you
no,
have to.
DJ.
It's
DJ is considered live
Then he
music.
has to change.
Is it a
No,
person-
we don't consider
Okay,
it to be
but
live music.
a lot of community boards have dealt with in the past, and I believe at the
I've
time.
never, no,
Okay,
never
so just to be
considered that.
clear, DJ, yes,
Yeah,
That's
live
DJ.
musician is
Yeah.
piano.
Some kind of ensemble.
Or
yes.
singer.
So we're gonna change.
Karaoke.
No live music.
Okay, no live music.
Okay.
No, and so you're not having no musical performances, right?
Correct.
Okay,
But what is this
Okay.
thing, entertainment level music? We don't let anybody go beyond.
It's a dance hall, it's not background, it's a club.
it's a club, it's a lounge.
So it's saying
Still
expect for it to be heard outside?
No, it can't be heard outside, and
Which
that's
is why
why
he's
he's doing all the changing of the soundproofing and the acoustics, okay? That's what we're getting, which will be in the,
So then shouldn't it just be background if we're not gonna hear it
Well,
outside?
technically, the difference between entertainment and background is that entertainment you have basically to the street, where background you have the sidewalk. But that, we're
that's what
trying,
it is.
trying to
I'm
solve,
saying you can hear it outside to the street if he puts entertainment. It's not background.
But we don't want it to be heard outside to the street.
Right,
That's why
that's
he's
what I'm
making
saying. So
files.
shouldn't we just be putting background so that it's understood that it's not to emanate out of his
So we have to ask him.
establishment?
So Tom,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Is the real issue for us always in the community, and you have to hear this, we don't want to hear the music outside. That's the bottom line. So if you are saying that's not the case, it's a problem.
Or you put background, and then that means it's only heard inside.
I would cross out other and just leave the background because.
I really want to, obviously, there's one objection here, Elizabeth, I just want to approach her. What?
That's what I
makes you
saw.
not- No, I'm not, I mean, let's have more collaborative conversation here.
Part of the confusion is the last time I came to a meeting, I was online. We were meeting with Ben.
I let him go because of.
There was a woman, she was going to buy the business and she was gonna run events, right?
Right.
And
I remember
Yeah,
that.
there was some Asian concept, yeah.
nobody was really clear like what she was actually gonna
Right.
do.
Yeah.
You both agreed 12 o'clock during the week 2 AM on the weekends.
But that
right now
wasn't,
it's
that was,
4 p.m.
Yeah, she was pretty mad.
And, right,
Yeah.
because my complaint living across the street is there is a constant boom, 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 boom. I've been telling Ben about it for 6 years.
And I let him go because he
Well,
did not tell me.
Sleeping. And
To be honest, we went through the renewal process a number of times.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, constant. I've been going to him for years.
The base.
According to him, I was the only person who ever complained. That's not true. I ran into another woman. I can't find her again. And I didn't call, I was calling 311.
are you telling your neighbors to do that?
I tell everybody.
Because, and are you then calling our office
No.
with the complaint numbers?
I'm CB two.
Ah,
It doesn't, but it doesn't make a difference if you're across the street.
I
And
understand.
the club is in my neighborhood, then when you file your 311s, you need to send it to CB1. Like if you've sent all your complaints to CB2,
It doesn't
it
work.
doesn't work because you may be a constituent of
It
CB2, but
stopped after a while because what would happen was they would call me back and I would be, wanted to be asleep and the police would come and I would want to be asleep.
And the police would call up.
And the police would call us. So I stopped. I literally stopped like a submissive.
We were beaten down this
neighbor.
first weekend. We've been closed for 2 weeks. This is the first time that we've actually slept.
We've been doing events, and actually, to be fair here, when we moved the entrance to West Broadway, now you don't even know when we're open or not.
It's actually not true.
We opened 2 nights last week. You said we were
Hold
closed.
on.
No, stop.
I am simply saying
Oh.
that it's been a problem for 6 years for us. There has been no movement. The guy was really annoyed with me every time.
This is the movement. Now is the movement.
Okay, this guy's 16, he started when he was 10, how
We
about
have
that?
3 boys
It's like,
there.
this kid was going nuts, like, it was bad.
We won't open during COVID, that was sweet.
I wasn't.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Tom,
You know I'm.
You're the point, you know what? We remember
So,
this,
right. so
right,
let
we
me
remember
talk
this.
about
and we remember he was gonna sell and the whole woman
Right.
up
The
business.
woman.
And the Asian concept and
Exactly.
the roof
Before the door slamming,
Doors-
the blazing tall crowd that comes in. This is
and the
not-
cars down the
Got it.
street.
I'm lucky I have 10.
It's all the same, okay. So it's the same.
so
Okay.
I have several questions based on what they're saying. And based on, I don't want to hear anything about Ben, who, there, whatever.
Yeah.
Have you reached out to, if you're moving the main entrance from Canal to West Broadway, you are also moving it next to the entrance of the building, correct?
Our building, yes, correct.
So what have those residents
It's
said?
an office building.
It's an office building. Yeah, well,
We're not across from the cannabis place.
In 1 York.
It used to be.
No, but the new entrance, is that gonna be next to a residential building?
No.
On West Broadway?
No, it's next to Hazelton. It's next to Hazelton,
It's
across from the new
next to-
cannabis
Okay.
place. We're in this like.
Residential a little bit further.
So, you are doing DJ entertainment, no live music, no musical performances, no singers, no comedians, no none of that stuff. It's just a DJ club, and you're going to be soundproofing from the interior,
Yes.
correct?
Yes,
Now, in your application, you put your queuing on West Broadway.
yes.
Can you be queuing inside the building?
I think here we're gonna have a pretty large vestibule, but I think you want queuing still be outside for many operational reasons. Well, I mean,
We don't.
Yeah, but may I explain something? It's very tough to remove somebody, having done this for over 2 decades. Unless unless they're a customer, you don't want them inside the door. That's standard operating procedure.
We don't come outside our door.
We don't.
Give it up, we're moving them to what's, there's not even.
And they're gonna get their car out of Canal West Broadway.
Okay.
That was the problem.
Stop. So what we need from you
Hmm?
is a security plan,
Traffic.
a traffic plan.
We asked for
We,
that.
originally, we passed this, we sent it, we gave it to you. Right now, we want to make these changes. The landlord has given us amount of time to do it. We want to make Elizabeth happy. We want to make everybody happy.
It's not about her. Understand that. It's about a community impact. I understand she's been the most vocal for you, which I have to say, you should be grateful that you have somebody who's willing to be communicative.
I have no issue with this at all.
But the issue for us is the queuing and the outdoor and the traffic on the street.
Because that was the problem last time. And Elizabeth, has that part of it changed, the outside? Because,
You can't say, we don't go on.
wait, let Elizabeth answer, please. Because last time I recall, you guys were complaining about all the cars. It was even before, like, black cars were really that popular. So it was all the taxis lining up, it was people coming out and screaming and making noise. It was them walking all the way down the street. It wasn't just in front of their front door. Has that changed? Is that true?
I had one of it in the last week.
No, forget the last week. We're talking over the 6 years.
We're not even sleeping. I feel like I'm getting that brain trauma that you hear about the military when your entire building is shaking. Their building is from 1897. Ours is from 1865. The Victrola was invented
I'm
in
surprised you guys have not come back to us in 6 years.
No, we were just, yeah.
I went to CB too.
Too, because that's where they live.
No, I think.
But just for the record, Canal Street, because where they are, it's actually, I think it's in the city charter. It's known as, even though we're in CB1 and you're in CB2, it's a common use area, I think was the
He's right
terminology
there.
called. So you're inclusive with us, helping you,
Let us know.
even though you're in CB2. It's a common use area, so.
And last time you came, you had a bunch of neighbors. So where's everybody today?
I didn't have a bunch of neighbors.
No, she didn't.
No, last time you came 6 years ago, there were a bunch of people that came to complain.
6 years ago, and that's part of the issue.
No.
So when they.
So then maybe it wasn't you, but.
When they installed a brand
Brand new
new
sound system.
sound system. that
It's
was-
all
that is-
subwoofers.
Okay, exactly. So stop with that. Tom,
Yes.
what are you doing to ameliorate the subwoofer sound that emanates to the street level in this
Yeah.
particular plan? What kind of equipment and soundproofing are you doing?
The bass, because it's not necessarily the loud noise, it's the bass.
Yes.
All about the bass.
Address that specifically.
I don't disagree. The windows that we have, your point, the building is late 1800s.
Yeah.
The building, the windows rattle with the bass, okay? What we're doing is building a huge wall in front of all the windows.
So you're putting acoustic walls
Yes.
in front of the windows?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Acoustic walls in front of the windows to prevent the space
Anything.
from spilling.
Absolutely.
What if the walls rattle?
The
But
wa-
that
These walls will not
addresses
rattle.
noise, not
Not
bass
the
that
woofing.
reverberates through
Well, no,
whatever.
I think,
Well, it's the building is all.
Yeah, so.
yes, the idea is we don't want the bass to hit the windows.
Yeah.
The key is not having the bass hit the windows. This will stop the bass from hitting the window.
And are you doing anything for the floor and the ceilings?
Yes, everything that's square will have a roof as well. So really, it's gonna be a contained unit where we don't want any
It's like
sound
a
or
box.
escape.
So the
Then, yes.
queuing is,
Queuing will be, the only rational way to operate a business is not to have a queue. You cannot have a queue inside the door. I'm sorry, that you cannot operate a business and do that. Nobody does this for a reason, for allowance type of operation. You can't
often do you have to use outside?
regularly between 11 and 2. That is fortunate.
And, and
Four or something.
But in this case, though, the queue is moving about 60 yards more from your residence.
It's
Now,
the same corner, it's the same.
no, because now,
how many security people do you have outside?
like 4, maybe even more sometimes.
And they can't keep the noise down?
No, it's not necessarily the cut, I think there's issues of, I imagine, taxes or Ubers.
Can you pull that
So I think, my opinion is,
corner?
when we commonly use this entrance, people will start coming now to the other triangle, where Nancy Whiskey's is. That's the easiest way to access the space. That is where Ubers will start to drop people off. That's what people will start being pushed to now later at night.
It's a one-way street there, and the problem is that at 4 AM, everybody's drunk, it's the same anguish that's coming from Maxwell's from the previous conversation. People are coming out loaded, and they're very young, and they're like 4 or 5 people getting in a taxi, and they're screaming and yelling, so it's a party, it's a nightclub.
Tom, this is the front of the
Yes,
building,
ma'am.
correct?
No, that's the West Broadway side.
Okay, and that is where you're moving to.
Correct.
So,
Grab that blue door is right there.
right where that door is,
No,
correct?
the blue door.
The blue door.
Go down,
Right
right, yes.
across the corner.
Yes,
Nobody lives there?
Nobody lives there.
Can you move a little bit over to the other way?
Is this the Italian restaurant over?
Yes, tiny restaurant.
Right.
Pepperino.
Pepperino,
So,
My favorite.
yeah.
So you're moving over to here.
Is that where
Yes.
Stacks Lightning used to be 100 years
yes,
ago?
exactly.
You in that space?
No, but that is the space.
That's your space now?
Yes, that's probably back in the eighties, I think it was.
Well, here
We
I
were
am.
here.
Sorry,
We were here.
So here's a
That
question
was
for you.
required.
Can you, if you're queuing, your doors are on West Broadway, you're gonna queue, how far back does the queue go from West Broadway? Would it reach all the way to Canal?
No. Not, sorry, not even remotely.
And it won't hit, the Italian restaurant.
No, no.
It goes the other way. It goes.
Well, I
towards-
think, I mean, I don't imagine.
It's been done. It's going to, it's.
Yes, we've been doing it now,
Okay,
since
so-
the
Tom,
we've
Tom.
pushed the door over here.
Hi.
Yeah.
Can you advise every single person who gets picked up for hire vehicle and put a giant sign that they pick up at 285 West Broadway?
Yes,
So we get people off the Canal Street side.
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, we're gonna put it in our resolution. Wait, Miriama had a question, or is it over?
Well, I'm
Oh,
just still,
and they have to wait inside. You have to provide a space for them to wait for hire vehicles inside. I mean, for God's sakes, you're open from 4 o'clock in the morning. They can find a way to stand inside.
Yeah, I know, but in case, I mean, I will do the best I can.
By
That's
coat check, they
guaranteed.
can hang out.
Yeah, then it creates a bond like a toe check.
nobody
Here's-
is going to eat.
Is there enough lane space for that? Because the police park, you see how they park on the angle? Can you turn to the right so you can look down Broadway South?
Yeah, there's two
Yeah.
lanes there.
So the arrows that will be where the cars will queue. It's gonna,
So
It's better
have an
than
operator there at night
in
for
front of.
That'll be,
time,
that
that
could
generally
block traffic.
speaking, pretty, that's a less trafficked street than every other street around.
I
It's just
agree.
that.
That's not.
it is, because the street's blocked.
That's 4 o'clock, it's different, that's not.
I mean,
The problem is that your security and, trying to figure out if you can control the traffic. I mean, that's the same problem we have all over. What, Jean?
I'm still
But
concerned.
that building's residential on the right.
I'm still concerned with,
It's- no,
I mean, it's a hotel, and then next door is residential.
But it's a
no,
hotel.
it's not, it's sorry.
Dean at the floor, let's get Jean.
I am still concerned about the acoustics. And I would feel better if, first of all, we have the name of the company that you're using. And I would
Right,
feel
Bill.
better if they could come and tell us exactly what they're doing. This box in a box is actually, one of the better ways to deal with this, but I would like to have them talk to us. The acoustics people, because that's a huge.
I
Yeah, it's
will-
better than it is now, if he's doing
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Basically, the option, I mean,
Who are the
right,
people, do you have the name of the acoustic company?
we're going to use Al Firestein from Acoustic Log. Now, what he said though is that it's, until the wall is up, he can't give you the exact reading. Now, Al, I've used him before, he's the best in the business. But I'm not gonna spend this type of money and then not make
have it
sure.
work.
Right.
I mean, this is. the
And
goal
they will
is to
come
have-
back anyway if it's not.
I mean, this is gonna work.
I told the story the last time I was
Or
here
it's not.
about
I mean,
the
that's,
boxing people underneath me.
I
They
know.
spent all this money and it didn't work.
well,
So you
That's-
gotta have some, for the people who, for 6 years, that boom is
we're
so
gonna,
difficult.
we're gonna get rid of that boom.
I'm still concerned about the use of the word,
Have the acoustic
the
plan
verbiage, the use of the word
sent to-
entertainment.
sent to us.
I just,
on it.
sorry, don't want to go.
Hush.
Yes.
Mariama, hang on.
We cannot get a accurate acoustic plan until these walls are up.
Well, but he has specs for what the walls are, no?
No, it's,
He has to have.
I can come back here and pretend there's different things.
He has to
There's
be able
one
to
way-
spec what walls he's doing.
But I don't
There's
understand what
only
you
one
mean.
way of doing this, and this is put the walls up, we take a reading, and then if the reading's not what I want, we're gonna increase whatever we need to increase.
Sounds
I mean,
like
And
water.
crystal material inside. I don't understand what you're.
But he has to have an
asking.
expectation of what he thinks is going
Yes,
to be the
but I will
result.
say though, at this juncture, it's either we continue to operate as we're doing,
Is the air
or we do
conditioner on?
this.
Well, but I think, Tom, what we're asking is you have an acoustic person.
We do, I'm telling you what he said.
I know, but we would like to see something that I understand he says, I can't guarantee it, but this is what I'm attempting to
don't
do.
understand what you're asking. He
Yeah,
told
I
you
mean,
what he's
I just-
attempting to do, reduce the sound.
For me,
I don't understand what you're
for me,
asking.
I'd like to see it on paper.
The acoustic
time is
person
now.
has to have
the,
some kind of data of what the expectation is of the results of
But the
building this box.
expectation is to reduce the sound. You want numbers?
And you know what? He's right. And he's not gonna do it, because he's not gonna commit himself to something he doesn't know. So let's be realistic,
Well,
everybody.
we often ask for an
why-
acoustic report and a traffic.
Yeah, we do.
It's not unusual, yeah.
yeah, listen,
Before we approve,
This is not unusual.
Okay.
particularly in
So,
this case.
It's next
And
year.
I have to listen to my committee,
yeah,
because
absolutely.
they're right. Wait just a minute. He's gotta give us something in writing, some kind of acoustic report. And he'll qualify or whatever, but as Mark and Miriam said, we have asked for acoustic reports before.
I'll have by, if I have by the full board meeting.
Perfect. No,
No,
I want
you'll be able to digest it.
before,
We'll-
Okay,
because we've gotta read it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want
I
us
will-
to
I
advocate,
will,
We have to
I
be
will,
able to
I will get
read
on
it.
that first in the morning,
okay.
but timing right now is important because landlords only give me so much time to make
I
these things.
understand, but you
So
know
I
what
can't
our
push the-
board meeting is.
When is it, so I know, the 20,
A week from tomorrow.
The 19th,
A
I
week
think.
from tomorrow. And on Mark's point,
yeah,
a, traffic study, some issue around the traffic, okay?
A plan for controlling the queue, and the traffic is I'm going to tell everybody for hire vehicles pickup is at the new Washington Street side, because you're gonna have
Yes,
to
well.
educate people.
That's all. We're not asking for miracles.
no, listen, I have no problem with any of that. I just can't have this extend any longer.
Well, we're
If you say
asking you to
yes to
edit.
sending it to us, then
Yeah, no, again, if it's I will do the best I possibly can to get this, I'll call the guy in the morning,
Okay.
okay? But again, I can't, I can only do what I can do,
So just do what you.
okay? I can do what I can do, but just, I'm trying to,
Okay.
Just do what you.
What do you want to say?
I'm confused because on the last meeting, when they were gonna sell it to someone else, you had all agreed to like have them at midnight.
yeah, but the deal didn't go through.
But remember, no,
One at a
wait a
time.
minute, wait. That was a new venue, and we had some clout on a new venue. I don't have the same kind of clout for a restaurant that has been existing for 8 years or whatever, that we can change the hours. It's the same operator. Am I correct, Joel, basically?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay.
I've never seen it before,
Yeah.
so this is a nightclub.
Well, if it's causing a disruption, we can ask for reduced
Yeah.
hours.
We can, but I don't know what we're gonna get.
But it's mainly, the main problem though with you is the noise, it's the booming.
It's the noise inside, it's the booming
Bass.
inside, reverberate.
The bass, Mark said.
Okay,
I want to
so
address both those things.
he's addressing both. We expect to hear from you guys. As soon as this is complete, don't wait 6 years. Don't wait till your child's moved out of your apartment. Come in and let us know.
So, Tom,
Immediately.
you've got your, Miriam.
I still think we have to get that entertainment sound level out of there, out of the.
But we're taking entertainment out.
No, we took it out.
The word. He's having a DJ.
Listen,
he's not taking the entertainment sound level out, because that's what they're doing. But what he's doing is because it's a DJ, it's a club, what he's going to do is ameliorate, and this is what we need to put in there. He is saying that he's going to ameliorate so the sound will not extend beyond the sidewalk.
Which would then make it background, so why can't we use
It's
the
not
word
the same,
background?
it's not that.
I agree with those. I agree with Miriam. I don't know why you can't put.
The
that
net
down.
effect will be and that's what it has to say in the stipulations, that he's working to have the net effect be that it is like background. But you can't ask him to do background when he's.
That
he's
it
a
will be
nightclub.
live background. We won't hear it in the street. We will put that in the resolution.
Or feel it.
Hear or feel.
Hear or feel. Okay,
And would you please reach out to your neighbors? How many neighbors are in your building?
Two others in our
I don't
building,
want
and
them
they're
at the big
all,
meeting.
they're all residential, all left, right, and sides of us.
Okay, so
Put the
just
streets
reach out
over.
to reach out to as many people as you can. And let them know that he's making these
You show the
changes.
north side of Canal,
If they have, if the problem.
swing around.
Please have them come back.
They call
As a matter of fact, it should then go to quality of life.
what?
If
Yeah,
they're
you see,
coming
you
back
see,
from
that's
Illinois.
all, that's residential. Yeah, right.
Can I call the question now?
Well,
Yes.
wait, whatever the vote's gonna be, that it's based on that the applicant will provide a traffic study, a sound
Traffic, not study, a traffic plan.
traffic plan,
Queuing
the
plan.
the acoustical report and the queuing.
Yes.
All right, and if those are not provided, then we go in a different, you can go in a different direction.
Yeah.
As long as it's clear, okay.
Okay.
So you said, I think, just, I want to be clear here.
Those three
Queuing
things.
plan, sound acoustics. Was the two things.
And,
Traffic.
traffic
Traffic study.
To educate your
population on that.
I think, I want to be clear here. So it is a security plan to show where people can queuing. And then it is,
You're gonna
Just a-
tell, you're
a
gonna tell
plan.
the difference, the change of address is where they're gonna be
Yes,
picked up. That's our
absolutely.
traffic plan. So
yes.
Like traffic and queuing go for the same with security. Those three are tied because you're utilizing the different entrance. You're queuing over there. You're not gonna disturb the restaurant on the queue. You're not gonna go past Canal Street on the queue. And you're gonna have for-hire vehicle drop off and pick up at that side entrance.
So on
And
the
you will
same page,
educate your population.
who do you want that I can do for my security company that I use?
Well, to Onej, and she'll get it to us.
So,
To
they-
Miss James, as she
yeah,
knows.
absolutely. It's okay. So be for my security company, just.
Yeah, yeah,
no
yeah.
problem at all.
Whoever's qualified to do traffic.
Okay, can I call the question,
Yeah, they-
please, so openly,
Yes.
because this is my last,
Phil doesn't want to comment on the.
no, he doesn't want to do
Okay,
the
go.
outdoor. All in, what?
Thursday, a week from tomorrow.
It's the 19th,
All in favor
with all of that. in-
with all the stipulations?
Mhm.
Any abstentions or no?
Opposed.
Opposed. Anybody online?
Very good.
Everybody's good, okay. Thank you, Tom.
No, we
And
didn't.
thank you, Elizabeth.
You don't want to do anything about the hours.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We can't.
No, it's very important.
Oh, no, it's not a renewal.
Yes.
Somebody else.
It's a change, so we can, but then you change it.
Well, if he doesn't do anything wrong.
I think, oh,
That's-
one.
When they first came to South Dakota, you were advocating for us, you said, we're.
Well, no, we have outdoor.
It didn't matter. Now there was the entrance.
Yeah, they're here. Don't worry.
So the
Oh, we have
reason
that.
was that entrance.
We're
Let's
going
not
fast.
stop,
Traffic
guys.
is competitive.
We got the outdoor.
So either sit down or step out, please, because we just want to get going.
On the
Hungry
outdoor.
and cranky.
Outdoor,
Yeah, it's
outdoor.
time to get cranky. It's 9 o'clock.
Okay, outdoor.
So, what's your class change?
Yeah, from the piano one to the fleeco.
Okay,
Everything for the same.
yeah, yeah,
Nothing.
you've been here, I know.
And also this, commercial block, I mean, no residential there.
Can I call the question on this one, please?
What is it?
We've done this. He
He's
came,
come
we've
before.
got the hours in there. They're fabulous hours. He's
Okay.
been in existence. He hasn't caused any trouble. We
Okay.
have no complaints.
Is there any residential on the
Just
street?
wants liquor.
Is there residential on the street at all?
Has liquor.
No residential.
He has
and-
beer
and
wine,
located
he just
space
wants
and-
full liquor.
No residential? So this is 4 AM garbage pickup.
All right, call the question.
I mean,
it's
I'll
just
support it, but are you saying there's no residential on National Street? That's not,
No.
Correct.
because
No, there
this
is
block-
residential.
no,
okay.
this block.
What time?
On this block, he's saying. on this block.
I don't know the block on
Uh,
National that doesn't
It's
have any
the-
houses.
what it
but-
was.
Okay.
Between, Maitland and,
Yeah,
John Street.
and John, yeah, there's no residential there. It's the hotel. It's where,
Those hours,
Okay.
hold on. How come your proposed hours are noon to 4 AM?
No, the four AM, 4 is for the garbage pick up.
Okay, but your hours are gonna be,
11 to 11.
okay, thanks.
And Thursday and Sunday, when are you closing? 11?
Am I stupid? What is this Monday through Thursday, 11 to 12?
Is it 11 a.m.?
It's 11 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Friday and Saturday.
No, it says Monday through Thursday.
You gotta look at this one in here, Monday through Thursday
What's the midnight?
is
And that's-
11
that's
to
midnight.
11.
12 a.m.
And then, no,
Midnight.
Monday through Thursday is 11 to midnight. Friday and Saturday is 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
11, Sunday, 11 to 11. Monday
First of
through
all,
Thursday,
Sunday,
11
we
to
always
12.
have the one.
I think he's coming.
He has something different on his page.
You have to tell us.
Every hour.
Sunday to Thursday will be 11 to 11. Sunday, right now, our operating hours is 12 PM until 10.
To 10.
Yeah.
Which we always have to
So
10.
it's on Sunday, right?
Right, right.
What are you Monday to Thursday?
12, he said.
11 to 10.
No, you're not. Sunday from Monday to Thursday, what are your hours?
11 AM to 10 PM.
Okay.
Same thing on Sunday then.
No,
No.
Sunday is 1 hour later,
Noon to
open
10.
at noontime.
Oh, you open an hour later.
So are you increasing the hours now? Because this says
No,
12.
that's the original, when they apply the BMY hours.
Oh, but you don't follow this. You close at 10.
Yeah, we close earlier.
Okay, so we
And Friday and Saturday till midnight?
Until, right now we're closing at 11.
Well, what do you want? Want to be able to close to 12 on Friday and
Yeah, if
Saturday?
possible, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna say 12.
So leave it as it is then, right?
Yeah. We leave it as current. Could I call the question?
Yes.
No question.
Second,
So then adding 1 hour on
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
and closing open later.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, goodbye.
Thank you. Bye, good night.
Thank you for your patience. Outdoor dining. Oh my God. Are we doing Phuket first? 456 Greenwich? Phuket.
Hi.
Oh,
Join
gosh.
us at the
Okay.
table.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Do you have pictures?
We do have pictures.
Yes.
This is just from the DOT. I apologize, I didn't bring copies, but I can get you.
I think we need to close out. Finish.
Yes, yeah.
It's just the DeBrosa Street side.
What did she tell us?
Thank you.
Oh, that was the window. I didn't know what that was. All right, so the community always have a problem with people not being, here, look at this, with people not being able to walk on the sidewalk.
Understood.
And so,
I'm looking for.
let me find out what this is. Awesome, let me find it. I have some.
I can,
I'm,
Okay. We have concerns that the sidewalk looks too narrow for the number of proposed tables, but we didn't have time to get there to particularly walk it and measure it. Could we talk about the number of tables that you got out there?
And
And
by the
especially-
planter?
Here's the plan, it's very small. Again, I apologize, I would have brought a bigger,
You only have one copy?
Yeah, I was just bringing it for my own reference. I apologize. I didn't realize I should have brought copies.
Oh, there's you got one?
The tables are all pressed up against the building.
showing the pictures now. She has the plan. Show us the plan, please.
It's the hard thing that I think on the plan, when you look at it, is you have 8 feet to the deepest recess from the tree pits, you know, where it kind of wobbles. So it's just super tight.
Where's the 8 feet?
So because of where the tree pits are, they can only do tables in between the tree pits
Right.
outside the venue.
Right.
Because the tree pits are so large.
Right. That makes sense.
And
And then there's a vest.
That's why you
Distance
see where
between the
there's tables of 2, it's only a 2-top because we have to keep that 8-foot width per the DOT
How long have you been
regulations.
operating?
2 years.
Why do you need outside?
I mean, it's just really more than anything, it's just a nice amenity to have for our guests in the warmer months.
Any way that you'd consider just doing deuces all the way across instead, or threes instead of four tops? Because what you don't have represented on here is the service path. And the service path has to be within your space, which means it's not represented on here. So
Okay.
if you had two tops all the way over, as somebody comes out the property line door, they would be able to reach through a service pathway within your boundary. Because you're not allowed to serve from sidewalk to hand
No,
over.
I understand that, and I could be mistaken. I thought that was, part of the plan, because we had to redo this a couple times to comply with DOT. It was an entirely new process, as I'm sure you know, to get this approved, so.
Do you see a service pathway on your diagram?
No, not specifically, but what I'm saying is I was under the understanding that that was factored into their, measurements.
Yeah,
So,
you have to show your service path.
okay.
And since it is so tight, that's why I'm saying you might have to do only two tops.
Yes.
In order to be able to get a service person who can wind in and out.
Because, and it's important to us that that happen for the traffic pattern as well as people walking.
And with strollers and with luggage and with, yeah.
So,
would you be amenable to all two tops with the service path within a straight
I
line?
mean, we're amenable to really anything. I just wasn't, I just can't make that call, so I'll just have to discuss that with ownership
Where is
and the
the food
attorney,
coming
but,
from?
I was under the
Inside.
impression that
No, where?
that this complies with all.
Where's the kitchen and where will the service come from? The stairs that are there?
Yeah, so the service would come, so that's the entrance to the restaurants. So the main hotel entrance is obviously on Greenwich. So the DeBrosa's entrance goes to the two main
But do they have
restaurants.
to come out and come around the block to serve?
They would have to come out in
The
order to
main.
serve her out from the employee entrance in the back.
That's, there's entrances and loading
That's around
dock
the
on
corner. They have to
Washington
come around the
Street.
corner.
On Washington
Around the
Street.
corner,
Yeah, so they have to make the
You
corner.
can actually look into the restaurant, into the
Right.
kitchen.
So the key is, they're not allowed to walk down the sidewalk to serve into the
Right.
sidewalk cafe. So when they come out on Washington, they'd have to be able to cut into where you have that last deuce at the end. They have to be able to cut in there and walk all the way through the path. It looks super tight. If you're sitting at a four top there and somebody pulls back, how are they walking by?
Puts their leg out or crosses their leg or.
Which is why I'm telling you all.
No, I
two tops.
understand. No, I understand.
so you have to go back to your folk.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll go back.
So.
I just can't
Okay.
make that call, but I'm happy to.
We
I'll-
do
I'll
not
get that.
agree. We will only approve it if you have two tops all the way across with the service thing. If you choose not to, and they come back, you need to let us know by the 19th.
No
Because
problem.
then we will
No, no.
decline the entire
No
thing.
problem.
Well, let me ask you a question.
No problem.
They can't do anything outside now anyway. We're in the winter. Can't they come back next?
Come back next month.
Wrong, sidewalk cafes are 365, and we have a limited time.
We have a limited time, we have a deadline. And remember,
Yeah,
you
my
can
understanding
sit
is
out
that-
at 0 degree on a sidewalk.
I mean, we're not gonna-
Big.
My understanding was that even though that this is 365, I mean, it's gonna be open from May to October.
Understood, but the law
so-
says it's 365, so.
No,
we
I
have-
understand, I completely
So get
understand.
back
No
to
problem.
us and get back before next week.
No problem. We'll get back to you right away.
Plus is residential everywhere.
What hours are you planning to operate outside?
The hours are 10 AM to 12 AM. So 10 AM to midnight.
Would you consider, I know that's allowed, would you consider?
Again, we'll consider anything, but
There are
I'm
a lot
not the
of
one that's
children
making those calls. And again, I apologize if my understanding was this was approved
I
by,
would
the hours
suggest
were approved by the
that I-
DOT and the,
They don't live here.
so again, I apologize if I wasn't prepared for those questions.
I would suggest you change your Sunday hours.
And Macville is
Absolutely.
around the corner.
Yeah,
The one we
We're
have.
very different, we're a very different
Remember, I
operation.
told you. it was-
We're a very
it was
different
such a
operation.
quiet-
Remember, there are a lot of children that live there.
What,
People
so
kinda
we
complain.
want Sunday hours till
10.
What are their liquor license hours?
I have no idea.
Let's take a look. Do you know your liquor license hours?
Well, they're different for the different outlets, but the.
For this
the-
restaurant, what are the liquor license hours? Because that's what you're applying for, the restaurant, correct?
Yes, it's midnight and 1 a.m. And the cocktail bar is 1 a.m. and 2 a.m.
But this is not an extension of the cocktail.
No, no, it is not.
This is an extension of the restaurant.
Correct.
So what we are asking is whether or not you will agree to close the outside because it's a residential neighborhood earlier than midnight, definitely on Sundays and any other day through the week, Sunday through
And-
Thursdays.
Sorry, let me just,
Yeah, write that down. We're not asking for Friday.
I
There
get
should be a
papers.
pen in the bowl.
No, I have a pen. I just, I think
Right
I
on your
gave
back
you-
of your.
Here's your
Thank you.
backpack.
Appreciate that. And so you're looking for what hours?
Monday, Sunday to Thursday. 11 PM. Sunday is 10.
Sunday is 10,
We'd like
yeah.
Sunday to
Close
10
at 10.
and Monday to Thursday, 11
Okay.
PM. And you can have your late hours on Friday and Saturday.
But really what you're saying is that he should look at the liquor license for that restaurant. And
It's
other than
12
Sunday,
it's 12 a.m. and 1 a.m.
so we'd like you to reduce those.
Well,
hours.
It's not gonna be, we're not looking for 1 a.m.
It's midnight.
Yeah, we're not looking for.
Except for
less
Saturday.
than that.
To do,
And we're not a late, like,
okay, but
aside
we're
from a small
asking
cocktail bar.
to 10 PM on Sunday.
Sunday.
10
Because-
p.m. Sunday, 11 p.m. Monday to Thursday, and 12 a.m. Friday, Saturday.
Yes.
Because what we would be doing is notifying, because they're gonna have to do a change in their liquor license to include the outside.
Yeah,
Yes, I get that.
Okay, all right.
No problem.
great.
Thank
So,
you.
so just those hours and
You
you should
let
help.
us know and yeah,
We'll let you know
let those know.
By the 18th, please.
by the
Little
18th.
before, I'd like 2 days before. I don't wanna inundate them. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And are we
you.
approving that?
If they
And
do all
we
the
don't
things we will
yeah.
approve.
So call the question with the changes that.
Yeah, call the
Second.
question, second, all in favor?
Yes.
Here we are, Mark, you too?
No, it's too
Oh,
much.
I know, it's,
Too
no,
much
I
for
know.
the residential neighborhoods, too much noise. A nice quiet street, again, being turned into a circus.
I have to
Not the
say,
neighborhood.
I do love my Mark.
What's that?
I do love my Mark.
We've all lived down here 40 and 50.
All right.
All right,
No, I understand. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
all right.
We'll right back to you.
119 South Street, Paris Cafe.
Hello, hello.
How you doing?
Good. Got that one
Have
on?
anything for
You have the 119 South.
photo of the notice outside that we emailed over, and I have the diagram.
Yep.
So, I'm sorry, what's the address?
119.
119 South Street, which is on Peck Split.
Oh, okay.
It's on that corner. Are you still gonna have the flower cart on the corner?
Mark, you were cool, right?
You want
Yeah,
that?
Correct.
You want that?
he's constant.
I'm here to say yes to everything.
That's what we.
Good, we love it.
So many years.
Call the question.
I want just want the hour that you guys give him.
Yeah.
What's your liquor license?
2.
Yeah, I mean,
We want.
you're in a weird spot.
Yeah.
You have residents.
We have-
Yeah, residents.
Yeah.
Our residents
Yeah,
love
we,
you.
we're pretty slow early. We don't really have any, I'll do the same hours you guys give him, 10 p.m. on Sunday,
That's great.
blah, blah, blah.
Terrific.
Okay.
Good?
So it's Friday and Saturday.
You just,
Guys, this is a combination application. It's roadbed and sidewalk.
right.
So
Yeah.
roadbed is seasonal and sidewalk is permanent.
Right.
We would
And there's
vote
plenty
that
of
piece, though.
space.
We're getting rid of that now. We have to.
Oh.
It's been a little
Do
tough.
you have a picture that we could look at?
Yeah,
But you're applying for it in within the season, you want the roadbed to come back.
Correct.
Do you have it?
It's actually a really nice roadbed.
I don't know,
There it is.
do you have it now? The roadbed?
We're getting rid of it this week.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
We don't want to, it's,
No, but that's
I
not
thought that was
roadbed,
just the
that's.
you know, the right, behind the column.
Plants are on the
Yeah.
right.
We have 3 6-top benches
You're
there.
not formally Coco, are you?
No.
No, who are they?
No.
Paris
Paris.
Cafe.
That you're thinking further down the road.
Oh,
Paris
okay.
Cafe.
Paris, okay.
Or on the corner.
You just
Oh, I
clarify
see,
the hours
I
that I
see,
agreed
okay.
to from the guy before.
Sure, you agreed Sunday night to close the outside at 10 and Monday through Thursday, 11, Friday and Saturday at midnight.
I'm home to my kids, I say yes. That's a flower.
You have 4 cedars out there, right? They're 4, they're not 2
No, we have 2 underneath the overhang, and then we have
on the other side, there.
on the
there.
roadbed.
Yeah, yeah, not the, forget the road bed.
That's, you're not doing South Street at all, that's South Street.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that at all.
So that
Okay,
picture doesn't count.
You're only on.
That's,
The other picture.
That's the other picture.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, South Street is disappearing
Correct.
because it's not
Correct.
compliant.
There's more tables in the.
It's
picture.
that one.
There's
with the
3,
papers there.
there's 3 6-tops in that roadbed,
Okay.
and then there's a bunch of deuces underneath the overhang.
And Coco is on the other corner.
It's on the park.
And
Right.
I've been to Coco's. Check it out.
You can match the diagram now?
I missed them. I'd like to go.
Okay, so you are keeping all the 2 tops as you currently have them, and
Correct.
then 6 tops into the roadbed.
Correct, but the roadbed's being removed, and then we'll put something up next year when the season comes back.
Yeah, well, you have to comply.
Is that round circle the manhole cover that's there? Is that what that is?
Probably.
Okay. And there's a fire hydrant there.
True, yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's the here.
All right. Can I
Call
call
question?
second? No,
Second.
you don't get to call. All in favor? Mark, no, right?
Abstain.
Oh, that's
That's
good.
good for him.
You're very lucky.
Thank you, Mark.
He'll say that he didn't object.
Okay.
Yeah, wait, clarification.
For both, for both. This is for both.
Correct, correct. Thank you, Liz. Guys,
I got it.
great holiday.
Yeah, abstain on both.
Okay,
Thanks
1:45.
for waiting.
Thanks for having me.
Odeon.
Join us at the table. Anusha's gonna pull up the seating.
I was just there the other night.
Oh,
you were?
Yeah.
Sorry you had to wait through all this.
What? You're 8 place.
Why are you here?
The roadway, the street side.
You said that's.
We have to
the-
reapply for,
You didn't apply for what?
we have to reapply for everything.
You've always had.
I
So
know,
two
I know.
different diagrams. They had something on Thomas Street which was illegal. They shouldn't have ever had that. So they're getting.
It wasn't illegal, we just couldn't do it during the day. After the judges left, we could do
It
it.
happens to be one of my, since it opened.
Yeah, it
And
was,
now that I happen to still love the place.
Yeah, I didn't want to be
So
on.
but,
So here, guys, let's, give me a sec because I've got a reading from Alice. I'm sorry I'm unable to join. Odeon removed the sidewalk cafe they've had since COVID. Current sidewalk cafe on West Broadway is 1 row of tables with 2 seaters, except the existing table with 4 seaters north of the entry. The new application is seeking to add another lane of tables south of the entry with 4 seaters on both lanes. This does not seem possible. See photos, and she shared photos that clarify the problem, because where these lovely drawings look great, what is not represented on the drawings over by the bench structure are 2 benches and the planters, which then create non-clear path because you have furniture in there. So, one of the things that I asked the ladies that while they were here, and this is pursuant to the question that Alice was asking, she wanted to know, do the benches that are on the vents belong to the Odeon or DOT?
us.
Okay. So, you know, there's questions on that. So
Are they legal?
There's one on the DOT said they were fine when they came for their inspections.
yeah, but they don't walk the streets like we
Yeah.
do.
Well, we don't have that second row, that front row of tables right now, so there's a lot more space.
So the question that we're asking as a community board, trying to prioritize pedestrian mobility, is would you be willing to stick to what you have now, which is 1 row of seating?
Yes,
Awesome.
we always had 1 row, yeah.
Yeah, but they want 2.
No,
They're asking.
Because, you know why? Because they're always packed.
It
Which
doesn't
is
matter.
fabulous.
We'd like 1
We're
row.
glad that you're still in the community.
it's fine. I didn't think it was gonna work.
Okay,
Great.
fantastic. Now for the roadbed, Alice wants to make sure that she notes, and I will put this here. So let's see. Safety questions and other applications where bike lane needs to be crossed to access the roadbed. Because your roadbed is on the other side of the bike lane, and that is actually a really busy street, so we just want to make sure that we know it's.
Where isn't there a bike lane?
Well, there is a bike.
Well,
Yeah,
what they
came
did
in
was,
after.
it came, we built the
understand.
shed. The bike lane was on the far side of the shed, and then they decided that we should move the shed so they could put the bike lane at the curb. Don't ask me why.
Right, we weren't
Um,
happy with that
but-
either, we would have rather that your shed was at the curb.
Yes, it's
Ourselves.
much safer for everyone.
And for your guys.
In getting out of town.
So,
So. How many parking spots are you taking out?
How many feet does
it's
that?
30 feet, 10 inches.
So it's probably what, three
Three.
or four? Three?
3 or 4?
And there's one part that's not used as parking, it has the zebra stripes that for dropping off.
Pictures are up. Not that so much as the roadbed.
So you're taking, if you look at the roadbed, you're taking all of the parking from because the corner has the,
Trapezoid.
yeah.
It's basically from under that O-N, that's where it was to the right of the entrance. The roadway would start and go to the end of the building.
I love you guys, but I'm not in agreement with this.
So you're taking,
Which part?
you're
Taking
all
up
the
all that,
parking,
all the parking.
because
I mean, there are people
it's
that-
hard to find a place to park. over there.
Oh, it's all metered parking. I mean, it's not.
I
But
know.
at night, it's available to the residents that live on the street, right? Because it's not
It's-
metered
it's
24
public-
hours a day.
It's public parking.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's metered public. It's
So,
available then.
It would be available.
I mean, we
The
can
nice
check
Sunday,
that.
you don't need.
I don't think there's that many parking spaces there. I think there's maybe 2.
I think the problem
I
is
don't
that
think
there
it's
is.
4.
Because then it cuts in after our roadway to make a turn lane to go down Duane.
Right, because there's no parking in front of the Balloon Saloon. I mean,
Right.
my only
That's a
concern
turn
is
lane.
Balloon Saloon has a commercial truck that parks in front for loading and unloading. And if you're taking almost all of the
There's
parking,
no place.
there's no place for the businesses to operate, to do drop off and pickup. Where are you doing your drop off and deliveries on
And
Columbus?
garbage.
No, right in front.
In front.
Right, which means you're gonna be double parking on the street outside of the,
Well, as I said, there's sort of it's not, I don't know what you call it, but parking is not available from the curb. There's a section with stripes over it, which is meant for people to pull in. Right, that's not accurate, because that's when we had to shut up where the
Right.
parking lane
but
is.
that's kind of what we're talking about, right? You were at that point, you were in the bike lane, which went around you. Now you're no longer in the bike lane, you're gonna be in the parking lane.
Well, I don't,
Saying like a
Can you
blocked off triangle.
Move
There
the
is.
views to the other side?
Can go-
Yeah, to the
no,
other
go
one.
North.
go the other way, yeah,
Yeah,
that,
little
That
side.
space
that's
over
no,
there.
that has no parking in it.
Right, but you're not gonna be in there.
But that's not,
Woodward
the same.
Cafe's not gonna be in there either.
right, but that's not legal for deliveries. And you're not, so, I mean, it's a crosswalk. And it's a crosswalk.
Well, I'm gonna
So
wish I'd
what-
taken a
what's-
picture.
Go further down.
Well, if we need to. we
I'm
can
sorry,
make it
let me,
shorter.
just asking, so on Thomas Street, do you still have the?
No, no sidewalk.
Okay, you only have the sidewalk now on West Broadway.
Yep.
And it's where it is now goes over one because the bike lane gets to exist.
Right, so the bike lane is now up against the curb, where here it was parking and then bike lane. Now where you see where
And
Onesh.
how many seats are gonna go in that shed?
It's like 16, I think.
2, 4,
Well, could
6.
you reduce the shed?
13 tables.
Could you reduce
So
the?
that's 26.
There are about 30
Yeah.
people. Not
Could you
about-
reduce it to maybe 10 tables?
Old one was 30 people.
So many.
20, do they have one?
Yeah.
Okay, so that, this part though.
So
is where
quickly,
people
I
pull
don't want to
over
stay
generally,
forever.
but
I
yeah.
don't know what the answer is.
Reduce the shed.
You have by your service entrance down on that way, you're not doing any roadbed over there, right?
None, no.
you think you'd add a little bit more space? Because that doesn't look like the space that's in front of service would be actually wide enough to, there are two things you have to do outside your property line. You have to be able to put the garbage outside, right? And that's not, right, it has to be on your property line, and you have to be able to have a commercial delivery.
Just not enough space.
We have a garbage room in the basement and it's brought up in the morning when the drivers come. The porters bring it up in the elevator.
Okay. And deliveries, there's not enough space for a delivery.
Why can't you just, can't you
I mean,
reduce?
some people use
But
common.
can't you reduce it to 10 tables instead of 13?
In which, way? Yeah,
In
we
the
should.
shed?
Which end
What
would you
would 10
prefer?
On the service side,
So they can lease extra space.
on the service side.
Yeah.
And then we'd have
It's
how
like
many
when
tables?
we take-
Yeah.
Which side, Tammy? On
10
which
tables,
side?
26, yeah.
For.
Right side. So
Oh, that would make a big difference.
if you took away 3 tables on the right side, that gives a little bit more entrance for your service area. And then when you do put garbage out, if you have to put garbage out, then there's an additional space that you can put it, because garbage has to be containerized now on the,
Well, that's why we leave it downstairs.
It still has to be, you still have to put it in containers.
Well,
Only
they,
if they're leaving
they
it out,
actually
but that would-
It
call,
also blocks the street more now.
They're bringing it up
Thank you
right
very
on
much.
when the start happens.
the drivers call us and we actually
Right.
bring it up.
Which we appreciate.
And they love.
The right side.
We do all the.
That will make a difference.
Right.
When they're there.
They don't
Yeah,
say.
that's
Garbage
fabulous.
never sits outside.
Great, that's fabulous. And you know, when reducing 3 tables, you guys could do great business. That's not gonna
That-
affect
that's-
your
yeah,
business.
3
We're all
tables.
loyal to you.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, fine.
To allow more.
here, look, it'd be here, right? On this
On
end,
the other side.
for, on the service side end of the roadbed, that'll allow for better access for commercial deliveries for your business,
Okay.
right? And allow for a place, God forbid, the business changes and your carting changes, it gives you an opportunity to have a space to put it.
Okay.
You need to do. And on the sidewalk, we agreed it's 1 row, and then you'll have your service corridor on, just on the outside of that row.
Yeah,
like-
people,
Okay,
there can be plenty.
10 tables.
Yeah, we have.
10 tables.
Call the question.
Thank you. Call the question.
All in favor?
Somebody's gonna say.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys.
Uh,
I deserve awards. I'm telling you, after witnessing this. Like,
Thank you, ladies.
No, thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Does he?
You'll be-
No, we have something different now.
Oh. I'm here with Mimi one day.
We incorporated with Vineyard as part of food delivery, package and everything with, put them down sign.
Thank you guys for the.
Thank you.
Bye. I see you in the neighborhood.
Park Place, so where is it?
Five and Dime, it's,
It's between Broadway and Church.
They're
yeah.
in the Woolworth building.
It's the Woolworth building.
Exactly.
They're on Worth Street on the Woolworth building.
Yeah,
I was
It's a
just,
cute little
I was
spot.
just
Thank
there.
I've been there.
Very, very historic building.
Yeah, they've got some cute space.
I wish we could still go in.
No roadbed, only sidewalk. And how many?
I don't know, I haven't seen.
And they have sidewalk. Your sidewalk?
We do have, yeah.
It's up here.
So what's changed?
What
Yeah,
is
what's
changing?
We're changing nothing.
Making
It's
legal.
removal.
Just making you legal?
Yes.
Oh, fine.
Can we call a question?
Yes,
Not changing anything.
yes, just call the question.
All in favor?
It's fine.
They've already been there. Yeah.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Good night.
Mark,
Happy holidays.
I'm confused about
I want to stay a little
Would
bit.
You wanna stay some more?
Yeah, I see it. It looks like little people.
You don't have your glasses on, Mark.
We just had, we had one complaint
It's
about,
really cute. little place.
because what happened, the MTA built up a fence right by us.
Okay,
They didn't have the way on the sidewalk. So I pushed all the planters and left like 9 feet now.
Right.
I closed it basically,
I
it's
just
cold.
stumbled by there.
I closed it, so now at 9 feet. I don't know how those gonna be.
so the one thing that I will tell you is
Yeah.
that we pass by your spot a lot.
Yeah.
Partly because one of our board members, is
Mobility.
mobility impaired.
Yeah.
So we're always trying to like sketch around to
Yeah,
find
the
the way to go
sky,
back.
the
The scaffold
scaffolding
is
is.
kind of a mess.
So what I did, I pushed all the planters, I left like 9 feet now between the MTA.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Just to keep it open for people to be.
Thank you.
No, we appreciate
Yeah,
that.
we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Like your spot.
Thank you.
Happy
Happy
holiday.
holidays. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a nice night.
All right, everybody, can we collect these papers for recycling?
Please,
Take the clips off.
please,
Take
please.
the